Shah Rukh Khan walked me down and gave me a kiss on my cheek and shook my driver's hand. I was like, Sureshji, look, you met Shah Rukh Khan today.
I get a call from Anirudh, and he's like,
I can only tell you two things about the film. Shah Rukh's with a gang of girls, like they're all like a girl gang. And it can be a song about Shah Rukh. I'm like, that might be his theme song, you know? Running with King Khan, bullets rain down like it's thunder. Ready or not, she got the Glock, she'll put you under.
You've done so many things, singer, songwriter, rapper, and now you have your own label. Who is Rajakumari beyond all of these titles?
I made Rajakumari as a superhero. I remember as a child, like, old men would come up to me and be like, I saw the goddess like on stage. I was listening to like some Punjabi music and it's always like a man singing from a female's perspective. It's like, oh, I'm in love with him, he just gave me some water. I'm like, bare minimum. Like, where is the accountability? We need more female perspective in the songwriting space. You know, my dad left India 40 years ago for opportunity and then I came back. Who said that I had to live in America because I was born there?
I obviously can't rap, but I used to do spoken word when I was a kid. So I've written something for you. I usually do normal intros, but I wanted to try something different.
I love this.
You can grade it from a scale of 0 to -10.
Okay.
However, whatever is the lowest on that spectrum.
okay,
But
we're going to unpack that in therapy a little later. We'll continue.
crown on her head, fire in her veins, Rajakumari, breaking every chain, rising with power, she's claimed her throne, a force on the mic in a league of her own, fierce daughter of the king, heart of a queen, unleashing her power, ruling every scene. Rajakumari, unstoppable flame, shaking up the rap game. God is draped in gold, with verses so bold, every line's a revolution. Watch her story unfold.
Oh my God, thank you. That was beautiful.
Really?
Yeah,
I was
plus
like,
plus
It's
11.
the first time I've ever done this.
Well, you have talent. Don't ever sell yourself short.
You have a record, right? You wanna
Huh?
signing new artists? I know you've got it. I know you've got
Yes,
a label.
yes. It's all coming together. Timing will be right. That was. Thank you so much. I think also
Thank
when you reached out to me, even like whatever you said in the email, I was like, oh, I feel really seen. Like you saw all the things that I have done, and that was really beautiful. And I kind of really needed to hear that today. So thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for doing this. Welcome to Sustainability with Shreya. I just gravitated towards your energy. I knew there was something about it. It was so warm, so comforting, and I knew I need to hear what you have to say. So I think mainly that's why I can't wait to hear your story unfold.
I talk a lot, so get ready.
That's a good thing. So do I. Let's see who wins that competition. But you've done so many things: singer, songwriter, rapper, and now you have your own label. Who is Rajakumari beyond all of these titles? In one word, if you had to describe who she is.
I think I've been dealing with identity a lot lately, and I realize now that I made Rajakumari as like a defense mechanism, almost like a protector, like a superhero. So my name is Sveta Yalla Pragada Rao. And, you know, even having a long name growing up in America, it's something that people don't quite understand. And I realize now when I look back, I had like, every time I had experienced something that I had to be, you know, I had to overcome, or I had to be in the face of it, show courage, I like added a piece of armor like onto Rajakumari. And when I think about what it means to me to represent, you know, that energy on stage, I always describe her as Devi. She's like streetwear Devi, like hip hop Devi. And I feel like I'm a channel. And I think I know that because I started my, you know, life as a classical dancer, you know, many, many years ago. And one of the first things I ever learned was Mahishasura Mardini, which is when Devi comes to kill an asura that has been given the boon that he cannot be killed by a man. So a woman comes and kills him. And it's this very powerful female character that like rights, you know, the wrong in the world. And I remember when I play the character, I remember as a child having experiences where people would say, like old men would come up to me and be like, I saw the goddess like on stage.
Wow.
And I think that channel, that like God frequency, I feel like there's a piece of that when I turned into Rajakumari. Like my friends say, like, I kind of like right before I take the last step, there's like this thing that I kind of goes over me. And it's not like a spirit, it's like, going into a higher frequency where I know I am a channel. So whatever is, like I said in the prayer, whatever is meant to be seen through me, like being an instrument in that moment. So she's strong and courageous, and she doesn't take shit from anybody. And in a land of patriarchy, you know, it was a very, very sharp weapon to cut through with.
Yeah. Who was she trying to protect?
Sveta, baby Sveta. That's what I've realized, and I think we all do that. And I think it took me so much time to realize that I was dealing so much with duality of identity. Like, am I American? Am I Indian? Am I this? Am I that? And you know, it's brought me on this journey, like through being able to put that roop on, you know, like put on Rajakumari, the daughter of the King of Kings, and be like greater than I felt in that moment. You know, it's just I've realized how much I was like shielding like myself. And I feel like now it's this process of making the two identities one, like being more present as Sveta, as the person that studied religion and, you know, loves Mahabharata and Ramayana and is learning archery. And, you know, that person is also part of the music. So it's a new time, like, that's for my music. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Do you feel like they coexist? Do you think Sweta and Rajakumari coexist?
Yeah.
In your music, in your work?
Yeah, like I think I used to tell people, it's so funny, I used to say, Sveta Rao's a classical dancer. She's a classical dancer. And, you know, now as I'm exploring the art deeper, as I'm bringing classical dance back into the visual side of my art and, you know, just going back to my training and studying new thals and bringing new ideas in, I think she's always been there. I've always been there. It's like, it's very straight. I think having Rajakumari as a character outside of myself, it made it easier, you know, for me to fight for things that I thought I deserved. I think a lot of people go through that journey in life about worthiness. Yes. But it was very easy to say, she deserves it. You know, Rajakumari is this and this and this. But as a person, you know, maybe it's taken me a lot longer.
I feel that on so many levels, because I feel like I had to fight for everything that I wanted to study abroad. I had marriage proposals coming in when I was 15 years old, you know, saying no to that. Oh, God. So I felt like I constantly had a sword in my hand. I was constantly fighting, but to protect that inner child, you take on identities, you have that, and you feel like you never stop fighting.
And I wonder if this is like an experience of like our generation and a little bit before us, because it struck me a lot lately that like as my friends are turning 30 or as people are getting older and we're choosing to like pursue our careers and, you know, be women that are independent, have options, it's like we are the first women in our family lines that are like making these choices and having these freedoms. So yeah, it's definitely, it is a battle, and I wonder if it's going to be a battle for us and it'll be easier for the next generations.
I hope so. I really hope so, because I didn't have a blueprint. I didn't know who to look up to. I was the first one in my family who went abroad to study. I was the first one who's, you know, 29 and not married. That's not heard of in my family. So making all these choices almost makes you feel like you don't belong.
I would say perspective is the most valuable thing in that kind of situation, because being 29 and being unmarried in your family's perspective will be like, you're beyond your expiration date and how can we face everyone? But then you go to New York and you walk around and people are like 38 or like 40 and they're like living their lives. And I mean, I'm not saying it's better, you know, I'm sure like there's always the trade-off, you know, like obviously I think independent women that are like building their career, they also want to have the family, because unfortunately we got both programming and it's like there's been no testing on having like independent women with full family life, and it's like it's double hard. And it takes a really, I think, a special kind of, you know, partner that can like understand femininity and its power
and be okay with that.
Because I think in the past maybe all they had to be was providers, and that was enough. Where I think, which is a good thing, I think now people are expressing themselves. It's required to communicate. And I think that will maybe bring us back to a golden age in some ways, where we're more connected, you know, to ourselves. And, you know, there's been this little period in history right now where we've kind of forgot where we come from. And I think now people are starting to study everything, go back to, you know, studying Ayurveda, the chakras, meditation, mantras, sound therapy. And, I think hopefully we'll get somewhere closer to where we were.
I really hope so. You're so right about reclaiming our culture as well, because there was such a long time when I was ashamed of my own culture. When I lived away from home, you almost stopped celebrating your culture.
Where did you live?
Singapore, New Zealand, Sweden, Switzerland. So I was all over for the last 10 years.
Interesting.
So I forgot who I was in the process, because I think every place you live in has an impact on you, stays with you, right? Changes you in some way.
Yes.
So I didn't know who I was if someone asked me where's home. Of course, like I'm from India. I grew up in Mumbai. My family's in Kolhapur, but
And then also it's like, I look out the window and it's like I'm very much in Mumbai, and that's very romanticized in my mind because I always wanted to live in India, but I didn't know how that would be possible when I was growing up. Like I would only go to India for the summer and cry on my flight home that it was like
Aw.
too short.
it's literally the other way around for people, right?
I know.
They get, India is a holiday, it's a short vacation. They can't wait to go back to their real lives. And I think you said this somewhere that people come to India to take.
Yeah.
And that's what it was for me. I used to come with empty bags and fill it with everything that I wanted, spices. I remember packing like toothpaste from India.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my mouthwash. I'm going to take my
course.
toothpaste. I'm going to buy all my Lay's masala flavor and whatnot.
Of course.
And
Maggi
take it
noodles.
back home. Maggi noodles, yeah, big one.
You can get everything in America. It's just like
Yeah.
25 times the cost.
More expensive, exactly. So I
Like
think
I went to the Indian store and picked up like, I want all these things. I didn't think about it because I was shopping like in India. And then he rang it up and it was like $500 and he was already like playing my music in the store. So I was like, oh my God, I can't back down from this. Like, oh, $500 for like chai and
listening to
biscuits.
your own music.
I was
that's how
like
he
playing
got
my
you.
music in the place. So I had to just eat that one. I was like, okay.
That's how you get ripped off.
Then I was like, I just want to go back to India where life is simple. And I don't know, I like the connectivity here. Like when I'm in LA, sometimes I feel isolated. Like in my daily life, I don't really need to interact with anyone. I get in my own car, I drive myself, I go, I like scan my own groceries out, I like, or whatever it is. And I don't know, I just like how, you're just, everyone's so connected. Like if you have people like my house help, my maid and my cook, they are sisters and they've been with me for 7-8 years now.
Wow.
So I don't really have family in Mumbai. I have like my grandma and a few aunts and uncles in Hyderabad, but my cousins and everybody is still in America. So they're like my little family here in Mumbai.
That's so sweet. Yeah, you're so right about the collectivist culture, right? The community, the sense of community.
People don't expect you to have to pull it off by yourself, where there's this like feeling in America where it's like you should be able to do these 100 things in the day and you're just not as effective as everyone else if this stresses you out. And I'm like, I'm an artist. I'm like, I want to look at like the sun coming through like the leaves and like dancing in the sky. I don't want to like
do my laundry.
No, like I don't want to like mop the floor, which is fine. That's all fine. I don't mean to be rude. I'm sure that can be taken out of context, but I just mean like when like there's this very much like this everybody lives together. There's this like very cohesive harmony, communal. It can be very beautiful. It can be very nourishing. It can make you feel like you're doing good things, and people do benefit from even the smaller things you do for them in life. And it's taught me to be humble and be present. So,
You're so right.
But America, everyone always trips out on how my feelings of America are. But I mean, I love my passport.
I'll take that.
I love my passport, but I think it can change. I think everything is perspective. People do understand me around the world because I think my voice and my music is about identity and making sense of it, and it being messy sometimes, and sometimes really can come off as too dominant or arrogant or whatever. But it did its job. And I think that there's always been this push and pull of where I belong. Like with NRI, sorry that my sorry ain't Indian enough when America don't love me because I'm Indian as
I love that song of yours.
That was a crazy line. And I remember when I wrote it, I didn't know if it ever would come out. But I think I'm blocking my own blessings by imagining that only people in India understand me. I think there's people that want that frequency, that can see me, that recognize, that I'm just working it out just like them, and this is my method of expressing all those feelings that get stuck inside of us. Like some people, like all day today, I've had this like crazy energy in my chest. And I think usually I'll like go work out and like sweat it out or do something like archery, which is what I love. And today I didn't get a chance to do that. And I was like, it felt so crazy and bottled up. And then I realized like, oh, I probably should write a song today. Like it's like trying to jump out of me. Yeah. That was an ADHD conversation. You know those memes where they're like topic. That's me.
My head feels like there's 300 tabs open at all times. That's what it is. What someone can get done in like 2 hours, in 2 minutes, it'll take me 2 hours easily.
Unless you're under pressure. Then everyone else will fall apart and you are the only one that's capable of 65 tabs open and it will get completed on time. And that is my time to shine. But it's very stressful to always be under pressure. So I'm trying to fix that.
No, it's hard to constantly be on. But there's so many things that you said. There's so many tangents I wanted to go on. Starting with the
tangents.
ADHD with ADHD. I'm like, where do I begin? Where do I begin? Because it started off with the collectivist, individualistic culture. Definitely felt that. Because, you know, back in the day, people said it takes a village, and then literally it honestly takes a village to do anything, and I don't have to do it alone.
No.
But that was a big unlearning for me, having stayed in an individualistic culture like Sweden, where everyone's like, you're on your own, you know, each to their own. You in winters, like they barely get out, you know, exactly. Bag. Why would you, you know, what do you mean by you can't take care of this on your own? You know, it's like everything, you got to handle that. So moving from Stockholm to Mumbai, I'm like, how do I ask for help? How do I even begin to delegate something? What do you mean by wave house help? What do you mean by, you know, I get driven somewhere? Yeah. We're not used to that.
No.
So did you have to unlearn certain parts of who you were to fit in?
The biggest unlearning was, who said that I had to live in America because I was born there? Like, who said that that is the utmost #1 version of life, and because I was born there I should keep it? Like, I know a lot of people want to go to America, they work really hard and it's very difficult, and I respect that. But there was a big unlearning to be like, it's okay to be like super happy. Like when you look around and it's okay that like seeing India just makes you feel happy. Like just seeing people interacting, the way the flowers are being sold, or just like when the festivals are coming, like just enjoying that, like looking around and like be thinking something spiritual, and then like there's this giant picture of Shiva just like, and I'm like, thanks for the confirmation. Like I like that India speaks to me in the language of my heart, you know, like
That's beautiful.
I love it here. And I think the unlearning was to be like, okay, is the West the utmost goal? You know, when I am from the West, I was born in Los Angeles, where there's a lot of Eastern principles that people think they're following, and they've popularized and you know, colonized in their own ways. And I just feel like if everybody is trying to prove that they understand the East, like why are we
running away from it?
Yeah, like why can't we like just take a second and look around? Like I don't know, I love to tell people that, you know, my dad left India 40 years ago for opportunity, and then I came back, and that is a beautiful testament to what's happening in this country and the possibilities, and you know, these times where we had to like shy away from our identity because it wasn't known in the mainstream, and we wanted to like be ethnically ambiguous for like whatever reasons, like those times are up, and it came from the community, like, you know, effort of writers, actors, musicians, journalists, like just the CEOs, like like it just came from us just like waking up after independence, after like so many years, and just being like, we are not those people anymore. We have ambition, we have purpose, we have talent. And you know, I just see India going somewhere really beautiful. So I encourage a lot of people to bring their talents back.
I love that. I think that's one of the reasons I moved back as well, because I knew there was so much happening at home, and there was so much that needed to be done. I wasn't going to shift the needle. I wasn't going to move anything in Sweden. Everyone knows about sustainability, right? I think 1 out of 8 people in Sweden, they're already vegan, vegetarian. Like, but what about India? All of this, so much of our sattvic food, our Ayurveda, yoga, everything comes from here, right? What about this is the country that needs it the most. This is one of the countries that's going to be so vulnerable to climate change. Why aren't we talking about it here? Instead of like doing it in an echo chamber where, you know, progress is already happening. So
God, we already started seeing it this year with like the hottest summers and the flooding and everything. But I do have faith that we can make change. I mean, I watched Swadesh. That's why I moved to India. So there's a Shah Rukh out there that's gonna make a change.
Oh, there is a Shah Rukh out there.
We're gonna be connected to them, and they're gonna make the water wells. I don't know. I believe in us. I'd say that. I just feel like we do need to know more about what's happening, and we need to activate around it and take care of the world that we've been given, because I don't know, there's so many places here that we can't lose, you know, like I'm like really connected to Kedarnath, and I remember like when the floods were happening, it like wiped everything out. It was like this fear of like losing something that we've had for like thousands of years, and there's gonna be, everything comes and goes, you know, like right now I just saw in some article that like the river water had gone down and a temple came out of the river, and I'm like, you know what? It takes and it gives, you know.
There's magic in our chaos.
There's definitely magic in the chaos. And I always tell everyone, like my American friends or, you know, people from around the world, when I meet them, I'm like, come to India because you'll find yourself. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, you will find something about yourself when you come here. So, I mean, I don't know. I was just thinking on the drive here, I'm like, I've really been living here for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Like, it just happened, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it just... I came, I was intoxicated by the city, and now it's almost a decade, you know?
Do you feel at home?
100%.
Yeah.
I feel more, I mean, I think because I made my own life here, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I don't know. I think I grew up in America where I was like the one Indian in the room, or like one person that's like, and I use that to my advantage. You know, like when I was coming up in the songwriting world, and like they would call me India, like Timbaland or like Dr. Dre would be like, yo, Yogi. Yo, India. And I'd be like, that's fine. I'll listen. Yeah, India, I'm here, you know. That
the whole country.
Yeah, I was cool with it, because at that time there wasn't many, you know, songwriters. And, you know, when I first started writing, like 2012 and stuff, when I got signed as a...
I don't think there's what, 13% songwriters overall that are women?
Oh, yeah.
So that's...
There's even less that are engineers, and it's a small community. And... even smaller South Asian community within that space. And, you know, it's changed a lot. And I think when I came to India and I was like in a room, like the first time I had ever felt that was in college when I was the Indian club president. And I would throw these parties like Diwali banquet or something with like, you know, all these, like everyone wore their saris, and we would try to like, you know, be Madhuri if we could, you know, in the moment. But that was the first time I was in a room full of people that were just like me. And I remember just understanding like how important that was, and how like they would get my music. So yeah, it's ADHD.
ADHD.
I'm like, what were we saying? Something very emotional. Then the chai came. Then
two people with ADHD. I don't know how this is gonna play out.
It's cute. You guys should have like little symbols, and every time we change the topic, there should be like a topic change counter that goes by.
You see now what you deal with on a daily basis, where there's a notification on. I'm like, please shut it out. If there's a notification, if there's a sound, I'm gonna go so off track. I'm not gonna be able to focus.
Her phone, Jack's phone has like, what's whose song is that? I don't know. And I used to like in the beginning, but now it's like, as soon as it plays, I'll be like, and I don't know why. And I'm like, and I try to tell myself, I'm like, just be nice. You can't like tell her what to do with their phone.
Yeah, no, I'm like, mute the notifications now because it's gonna mess with my head.
Oh my God, do you hear like high pitched noises?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, we're special.
Oh my God,
we're special.
ADHD bonding. I don't think that would happen.
I'll send you some profile pages that will make you feel like you have nothing that's special about you. You'll be like, is everyone inside my mind? Like, that's when I found out, when I started seeing things that were like making sense. But I have more compassion for myself now, because I'm like, oh my God, my brain looks for dopamine in a different way.
Yeah. What is your way?
Oh man, I mean, I used to do crazy things for dopamine. I'd be like, fantasize, like I'd meet someone, make a full sandcastle. They are Shah Rukh Khan in my heart. Like we're gonna go on this whole Euro trip in my mind. And then I'm like, oh, that's how you get the dopamine, like from the idea of them. Apparently that's called limerence. Learned that one. But now my dopamine comes from softer places. I've figured out the routine. So obviously the morning chai, which is like the grounding thing. I love flute music. So I play like Himalayan flute immediately first thing.
Very calming.
Light the incense, and something about that combination, just like I'm also staring at the beach. So I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I am very thankful for that view. And I also think that God knows me. So he gave me that view, because he was like, I don't think I can use this instrument if she's a little, I need to every day tell her that life ebbs and flows, okay? It's gonna come right to your doorstep, then it's gonna go all the way back. So just calm down. And I'll give you some pretty sunsets. You like purple?
I love it.
That's God in me. Sky
so
Daddy.
the way for me to cure my ADHD is to move into your house.
That's one part. Yeah, get a
that's-
nice view, like, you know, a little energy. But I think setting that routine, like I think the flute music, I just realized that like it works on me. And then when I'm having my makeup done, okay, for like a very heavy glam, which takes 3 to 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
You know, from like sitting in the chair to like sculpting those like gigantic hair things that are like sewed with crowns.
Wow. But it looks stunning. I mean, I know that's a way of like expression.
Oh, I do it for the
And
I do it for the fashion. I do it for the love. I do it for Sveta, baby Sveta, who is a classical dancer and thinks more is always better. It's like more crowns, more flowers. Yeah, but it's very, you know, it's a lot. It takes a lot from you. I didn't realize how much it takes from you when you're like sitting in the chair for so long. And now we've realized that if I watch Devonka Dev on headphones, then I completely like, I'm like a baby with like an iPad, and then everyone can do their job and it gets done. So I'm learning like the self hacks
Okay.
to keep a calm Kumari.
I'm gonna have my team find something that distracts me. It's usually an animated cartoon. That's my guilty
Exactly.
pleasure. I love Tom and Jerry. Like I still watch Tom and Jerry. I'm 29. I'm like, give me cartoons.
Don't let go of those
That's-
things.
Nah, it's like I think it's who I am.
And also, like, what is, like, I don't know what the point of I mean, we should grow up. Like, obviously, like, we should, like, take on, I think growing up should be, like, taking responsibility for your behavior, being accountable, like, taking time to reflect when you do messed up things and, like, learning from them.
Say that
But
to my exes. But
yeah, but everything outside of that, like, please keep frolicking and, like,
Yeah.
paint in, like, color books and stuff. Like, I have, like, a mandala coloring book, and
Oh, you actually do the adult coloring therapy book? Yeah.
you know why I like
thought
it?
of-
Because nobody can convince me to turn it into commerce. The second I start doing something, there's like someone behind me, like, I can get 15 lakhs for this. And I'm like, please leave me alone. I'm just like, everything shouldn't be, everything shouldn't be sold, you know? Like, obviously we're in this nature that we are the product, but it gets very exhausting because the second it's a product, it's up to everybody's, their opinion and this, and it should
Scrutiny.
be more. So I love just spending like ridiculous amounts of time doing super detailed coloring books, and then it's over. And then I show my friends and I'm like proud of it, and then it ends. It's not like, am I gonna frame it? Like, am I like, maybe, I don't know.
But
It's
that's
really
such an
good.
important thing that you said, because we put so much pressure on art and we put so much pressure on making that our career
Yeah,
that you lose why you started it in the first place.
it's very easy to lose that, especially when you become a product. Like we were talking about this before. You know, I'm a musician, but in my day, maybe music is like, not in my day. In like the grand scale of my career, it's like it's 5% right now.
What's the other 95%?
Oh my God, running a business. No one told me to get a business degree. Like, I have to do cash flow and overlook all the contracts and negotiate and do like power moves and figure out what people want from me. I'm the mark. So what do they want from me? Maybe I should give them this performance for free, but ask for another project on the back. I have to do all of that.
Yeah.
And then like chase my money.
Chase their money.
Chase my money. I have to chase those invoices. That's it.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
adult part of it.
That's true.
But
Entrepreneurship.
I mean, even when you have people working for you, it's like the second I would check out and be like, oh, everyone can take care of it,
Falls apart.
it
Trust me.
forget falls apart. It'll all come back to my plate. So there's no avoiding it. You can avoid it like today, but it's gonna be there and you'll be more annoyed by it later. So it's hard. It's hard to be an adult, I'd say.
Has it changed owning a label?
Yes. See, there's so much that I learned. Like, I think I'm still learning. I'm starting to understand like the mafias of the record label. The like, you know, everything's like gangs, you know? Everything's gangs. You could be like the most incredible artist, and like I made the album that was like so creative to me. It's called The Bridge, and I made it during the pandemic at my house, and it was a very private album. There's not like 100 writers. There's no features on it. And to me, it's a success to me because I got it out. It was independently funded. I did all this stuff, but like to this day, I don't know if anyone's really even heard it because it's not in the
Mainstream.
mainstream. Like, and people are used to seeing me there. Like, if they don't see it like on the carousel of Apple Music, they don't go searching for me because they just kind of expect me to be there, which has been the biggest like kind of hurdle, is that people expect these like 1 crore music videos from me, but I don't have these companies backing me like that anymore. And I want to focus on the art. I want to, you know, do something that means something, which is why I started. So it's been a transition, just figuring it all out. But I feel that it's starting to fall in line.
Yeah.
The more that I take accountability for, the more that I kind of absorb into my tabs. Yeah, it's coming together.
But you started the label to encourage more girls and women to write their own music, for them to enter this space. What does this project mean for you?
See, I feel like that's part of my dharma. Like, you know, I say why I came back to India is because maybe it's a worthiness thing. Like, I was like, how did I grow up in LA? And like, I got exposed to all these things. And like, you know, when I listen to Bollywood music or I see things that are going on, I want the whole world to love it. And like, maybe if I go there and put some of my, you know, like pop ideas in there, like I can help it cross over. That was always the intention, you know, to come, is to like, how can I get the whole world to look at my culture and see how much I love it, you know, like the colors and everything. And I feel like through my experiences in the industry, going through 4 major label deals, you know, countless, you know, agencies and teams.
Grammy nomination.
I mean, yeah, that was very early in the career. Thank God for that. Or my parents wouldn't have let me ever do anything. They were like, I don't believe in this, but I see this Grammy nomination. I'll give you 1 more year. I'm like, oh God.
And then the Times Square, and then the billboards, and then everything else.
I mean, I have Indian parents, so they are excited when they see it, but I don't know. There's something, it doesn't like, it's like goldfish. It doesn't last long, but it's in the best way, because I don't know, my brother's a neurosurgeon and I'm just like an overachiever, so maybe it worked out for us. I don't know. You know, my other brother's got he does AI, and I know his company came in Forbes, and I still tell people he makes robots. It's completely untrue. It's so bad. I'm like, why can't I learn what my brother does? I'm like, no, he makes robots. He's in Forbes list.
He's a good kid.
He does something. He has babies. He did the right thing. That's it. At least my brothers went and did the kids.
Yeah.
And like,
Same.
because it would have came. It's coming for me, but now it came for me, it left, and now they're just like, only God knows when, you know, like they fully let go.
I don't want my parents to meet yours. I think they're just gonna amplify that.
Don't let get your parents to meet Sima, Aunty. That's the real.
She came home. They got her home 2 weeks ago.
Wait. I also met Sima, Aunty, with my parents. I was saying it as a joke, but it was like hidden trauma.
She was in my house 2 weeks ago.
She was with my parents in LA.
We're gonna call her later and say hi. We should
send her a
we
photo.
should definitely
She
send
wants me to fill out the paperwork, and something has been stopping me from filling out the questionnaire.
My mom did that for me without even like running it by me. So her criteria is my mom's criteria at this point.
You must be adjustable.
Whatever.
You must be adjustable.
I must. Yeah, I'm the.
You must be adjustable.
She's like, vegan? You're vegan? You want a vegan husband?
Too
like,
much you're asking.
Done. That's it.
You have to get a. Yeah. Do you make your own vegan milk?
No, I haven't gone that far. No, I haven't entered.
You gotta go trad wife with it. I need you to go blend up those almonds, put them in a cheesecloth, and squeeze.
I haven't learned how to make a roti, so I don't think I'm finding a husband. My rotis are not.
No. I'm not letting you say these types of sentences in the world. Because by the way, there is a thing called Rotimatic, because I have it at my house in LA.
Machine?
It's a printer. It prints rotis.
I mean,
so literally, that's not an excuse anymore. We can get a roti printer. Don't let anybody tell you that. Don't judge your worth based on how round your roti is.
Nah, there's been other stuff. There's definitely been a lot of other stuff. So yeah, the veganism is a part of it. The activism, how vocal I am, how opinionated I am. Sometimes
those are the issues for them.
Colors about my hair, like comments about my hair, that her hair color, like it's too, blonde. She looks very modern.
What
and
biodata
opinionated
pool are you dealing with?
I don't know.
Sounds like the Gao. Like what's happening? Wait, what? Mine is she's very successful. I'm like
a problem, is
wait,
that
what? I'm like, they're like, will she give up? My mom back in the day, a couple years ago, now she's given up on this. She'd be like, I found a boy, and I'm like, do you know anything about him? No. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to talk to his parents, but I want to know before I talk to them, when are you going to give this all up? Give what up? I'm like, my life. I don't know.
How do you
They've
feel
given
about
this
that?
up now. They stopped.
Yeah?
Yeah, they stopped this.
But that's exactly what it is. It's like you're either too much or not enough. Like she's too short or she's too educated.
I rebuke you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm literally like, oh, she has a master's degree, my son only has a bachelor's degree. I'm like, how's that my problem? Is that my problem that he wasn't smart enough to get all
you know
the way
what?
to a
I can
master's
see
degree?
how this is taking a turn into the guy bashing. But what I'm gonna say is this, because I am in a high manifestation space, and they call it spelling because the words we say, they cast spells.
All right.
So I'm just gonna say that there is a new issue in the scene due to the fact that we all got to be educated and do whatever we want, and the internet has given us the opportunity to amplify our voices, and this is the scene. But I have faith in the men. There are men there that are in their masculine, and I think that there's feminine. I'm like really, I don't have my phone with me right here, but I am obsessed with Ardhanarishwara, which is the balance of Shiva and Shakti.
You have that.
And I have that also, the masculine and the feminine. And I realized that, you know, for many years I was like, I ended up getting in my masculine, like in the beginning of my career, because that's what like people reacted to, like
strong, always on.
Yeah, and anything too much will burn you out. You know, like it's electrical impulse, like it's like too much. So through the pandemic, I was kind of forced to slow down, and so many things were revealed to me that like I was pushing my body to the limit, as if that's some kind of badge of honor, you know, like to burn myself out to that extent, or to be available to every person that wants to do a deal with me without like thinking about how much I'm gonna make at the end, as long as everybody around me is getting paid. Like I used to do crazy things to be a provider, you know. It's like maybe we try to become the thing that we're looking for, but now I'm just like, I try to find the balance between like boundaries and also like allowing things to happen, going with the flow, like
surrender.
Yeah, like surrender 100%. Yes, you hit it on the nose. Because I used to make like massive like plans, right? Like I need this because this will put me in this position, and then I'll be able to ask them, and if I get that, then they'll see me this way, then I'm A-list, and then I can get this. And it never works out that way. And I go through the whole mental gymnastics. Even if it doesn't come, I have to mourn it. Like the whole thing gets created. So now my process is, every time things are like piling up against me, I'm like, I know this is not reality. Like I know that you didn't send me here to experience this. So I'm just gonna allow this to flow.
Wow.
I'm gonna wait, because Sky Daddy loves me. Yeah. And he would never put me in this position.
Sky Daddy,
he loves me. That. He works with Earth Daddy in tandem, and they make sure I get what I want, and I'm here for that.
I'm gonna steal that. Sky Daddy is my new word.
Yeah, because that's how it is. If you accept it that way, then like it's like.
So do you have a vision for a guy anymore? Like, is there something
from the Mahabharata?
Oh wow.
No. Then he has fire. I don't want to.
Did you say that to Sima Aunty? Because she's gonna be like, this girl.
No, I don't know. I've been. I had all these like ideas about the guy that I think I'm supposed to be with, and then they've manifested as I've imagined them, but they're not necessarily for me.
Okay.
So now I'm just kind of open to whoever is gonna. The thing that's most important to me is I want peace in my life. I want somebody that isn't looking at me as like an asset to like something. That's a weird way to say it, but I'm saying like an asset in like a financial way, like like their points go up because they're like they know me or whatever. Yeah. I've realized how spiritual and even like religious I am in ways, when the fact that I enjoy going to temples and I enjoy doing certain rituals, because to me it's like this is fire, water, earth. Like I'm grounding myself. Like these you know pujas they're special to me. So I think now I'm just looking for somebody that won't always be like, oh, you and your dumb pujas. Like I don't want a lifetime of that. Yeah. So I've realized that that's important, and I don't know if like money per se is the most important, because I always say that money's energy, and like it's the second that you stop thinking about it like cent for cent, then it just like will flow. So I think about the fact that when I have kids, they're gonna be like duplicates of this person, and like do I want a duplicate of this man? Yeah. So they gotta be like, you know,
100 on 100.
Nice people, good heart. Everything else will come. You know, obviously tall and good looking, so that the really smart, so the gene pool, you know, stays nice and balanced. But yeah, I'm open. I'm just like, I'm doing the Sola Somvar Vrat.
You are?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
I tried that. I think I forgot on the 4th Monday or something.
I'm 6 weeks in.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but I like it. It's for myself. It's not like to get a husband. I think it's just been making me focus on like patience and like surrender.
Yeah.
And just like, instead of being like, what? People are like, why aren't you on dating apps? I'm like, because it's weird. Like if I put my regular name Sveta and then I have to check what their favorite songs are, so I'm not there. I'm like, shit. I'm like, do you like Indian hip hop? I'm like, oh God, I can't. And then I'll be like, oh, my name is Sveta. And they'll be like, you look just like Rajakumari. I'm like, shit. And that even happens in, like, I didn't think it would happen in America, but like, I like Indian boys. So I'll end up like swiping on the Indian boys. And then they're like, you look like, were you in Gully Boy? And I'm like, shit. Yes, I was. Goodbye, unfriend. Yeah, so I went, you know.
So you've never dated outside of your culture? Like you've not dated guys who know brown?
I mean, like I'm like a serial monogamist. So it's like I just would date someone for like 5 years. Like I didn't have time to date so many people. But no, I think I've always, because I grew up in America with this like deep love and magnetic pull to India, I think I wouldn't want to spend my life explaining a lot of the small details. But I mean, you could end up marrying an Indian person that knows nothing about the culture. So I don't want to limit anything right now, but I would love to, you know, continue the traditions, you know, of my family.
I love the energy you have around it. It's open, it's full surrender, whatever flows, whatever is meant to be.
If Mahadev arrives and says like, this dude is cool, I'll be like, you know what? I'm not even... I trust you.
Sky Daddy.
Yeah, Sky Daddy. In the Mahadev form, it has to be like, okay, I don't know. This guy's a little, I don't know. So.
I think if you weren't a rapper, singer, songwriter, any of those things, you'd be a comedian. I'd bet all my money on you being a comedian.
Oh man, you know, 100%. I heard that like most comedians want to be musicians and most musicians want to be comedians.
You can do both,
and I think it's because of timing, like comedic timing and music timing. Yeah.
It's also a lot of trauma. I think a lot of people are happy. They have that sense of humor because
there's a lot of trauma. I have stories. I got stories. One day, the memoir.
The memoir. That has to come.
Yeah,
that definitely has to come.
How did that happen?
That is an incredible story.
So many lives. The LA stuff I never tell people about.
Really?
Like why the crazy stuff. I don't know, like when I was a songwriter before, like, I don't know. I used to like, there was nobody Indian in the scene. I had to like, they weren't expecting me to like sound like I sound or have those abilities. So, and it's like, it was a very foreign culture in a lot of ways because like, it's not like my parents would let me be out at 2 a.m. and you had to be in those studios. If you're not like a signed songwriter, you're just in the studio and then you might get a chance to work on it and you write it in that moment and it happens to go on the song. And it's like, it was such a gamble. And there was like a good 2 years where I would do 2 sessions a day and like none of those songs came out. We don't get paid for those sessions. Like you get paid as a songwriter when the song sells. And 8 months after, like, because they collect it, hold it, like it's not, you know, it just, I have to give my parents a lot of credit for like trusting me to be in those spaces, but they were always not the most safe places to be. And, you know, you encounter so many different characters. And I don't know, I was very naive. I didn't realize that there was like such a, like a target on my head that it was like, I'm here to spend money. I don't know. Maybe they just saw it on me. So I encountered a lot of characters that would be like, you have the money, I have the connections. And like, definitely experienced brainwashing at some point. And like,
yeah,
you know, like, because the person that I was working with would be like, I'm the one, every time they would say something like, we're going to work with Diddy or we're going to work with this person, I would really be in that room the next day. And then when I'd be listening to my parents, I'm like, you guys don't know anything about this world. Like everyone's doctors. And if I don't listen to this crazy person, how am I going to get where I know I'm supposed to be? Like, how do I get to Timbaland? How do I become this thing that God has already showed me a vision of? So I put myself in all kinds of positions, like, you know, just not take, I don't know. I definitely have a lot of things that happened in LA that, you know, made me want to leave LA and come to India too. Like I finally got a record deal in America, got signed to Epic Records, had one of those moments where you sing in the office and they sign you before you leave, money in the account, straight to the studio. And then I went through the experience of them saying Indian girls don't rap. And then me self-funding like my first tour in India and like filming everything to show them like, hey, be ahead of the curve. Like India has, 1.6 billion, 1.4 billion people, and 60% is under 30, and they're all getting smartphones, and this is the future. I was saying this in 2015 when I got signed, and now you look at the scene, and like not one record company can like survive without a plan for India.
Up here.
Yeah, you need a plan for India. So it was just, there was a lot of things like, I didn't think I would encounter those kinds of things. And I think that's also what inspired me to kind of make this space in Godmother, because I know a lot of people have worse stories. And I think that like angels walked with me. Like I think like Archangel Michael like pulls out with like a sword and like blue light. Like I have been saved from situations that like now I'm seeing all these stories unfold from those time periods and like these lawsuits, and I'm like, oh my God, I was there. Like, this is so weird. Like I was, 1 degree from a lot of these things that are coming out now from this, but I was always protected somehow, like I always was safe. And so even in India, like I've heard so many stories and I've encountered those people, but they didn't have the audacity to ever come to me like that. And I realized, like, if I was gonna, use this masculine state and burn myself out and create and carve this space where, people wouldn't dare say that to me, then how do I use that to help other people? Because, a young girl that's like has a soft voice that's like playing the guitar, like she shouldn't have to like lyrically murder like other rappers in order to have like it's hard to go in that space. But because I had that like Maestro Mardani character, it was very natural for me, but it's not necessary for everyone to become a gangster.
Yeah.
And as a songwriter, I've written all kinds of music. I've written stuff in Nashville. I've written with Gwen Stefani, like right after her divorce, and, going through that whole process was like therapy for her and for me, as a songwriter. So I just see a vision where, I know what I can do. I know my potential. I know the way that I am, how my ego doesn't really rule the situation actually when it comes to creation. And I don't want to make a bunch of versions of me. I want to like protect the creation and allow people to be themselves, because I think when people look to India, we should have variety. Like this is the most, like there's so many different types of people here, different types of experiences. It can't just be like one artist copy and pasted over and over again. And when something works, the whole industry will just start wearing that exact same outfit, doing the exact same thing. And it's like, I want to change the culture. I want to create an environment where, as a songwriter, I had the opportunity to write with people and get through the system. There is no system here for that, So it might take 20 years, but like, I don't know. I think that would be something good to leave behind as an infrastructure.
What did it mean for you? How did you take it when people said that there's no space for an Indian rapper? There's no space for an Indian female rapper on top of that. And do you think that's changed?
You know what I did? I breached my contract and self-released the come up. I like paid for it myself with the money I earned from Centuries on Fall Out Boy, which was my first top 10, like first platinum record. I spent all of it on the album and I came to India and I didn't go back. And I just didn't care that I was signed to America, because they were trying to tell me that like, without numbers, you don't have like, see, America's a crazy place. They want you to have numbers, but they don't want to help you put the music out, but you still have to have numbers. So I was like, okay, when I was in India, I released Mute, which was my first song. And I came to perform at NH7 as like a guest artist. And I remember the front row, they didn't know I was going to be there. I'm not a booked artist. I wasn't on the set list. And people in the front row knew the words.
Wow.
And I was like, that is literally insane. So when I went back to America and they tried me, they were like, oh, nothing. And I was just like, you know what? Like, you got to go where you're loved, where you're supported, where people resonate with you. And I just could not forget it. I think I came home after the first trip, spent 1 month in America, and then moved to India. After my first,
That's crazy.
After 2016. Like by 17, I was in India.
But what a life-changing move.
Huge. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I think even breaching the contract, putting that album out, all of it, it's been life-changing every step. And there's so much more to go, because now, I'm against the major labels. I don't know if I'm against them, but I'm up against it. Like, there's only 10 spots in the top 10.
Yeah.
There's like some 100,000 songs that are released every month in this country. That means only 10 of them are making it. And out of 10 of them, 4 of them are movie songs. And 2 are the big hitters, like between Badshah, Diljit, and Karan Aujla and AP Dhillon. Then like another 3 are taken up there. So it's like, it's a big, it's a big scene.
Where do you get the courage and the strength to keep fighting? Because you've obviously gone against so many things, and as I said, you probably didn't have a blueprint for so many of the things that you were doing, or role models for that matter. Where do you find that courage?
I just know I'm worthy of it, and that was a hard thing to come to, but it's not even about worthy, I guess. I had a vision when I was a kid. I call it a memory of the future. Like, time is not linear, it's cyclical, and we like have these moments that overlap. I remember being like 12, or maybe I was younger, and I was sitting in my room, and I had like a whiteboard. I was like doing something, and all of a sudden it was like, so, like I had this vision, and I was looking out at a crowd of like, I want to say 80,000. Like, it was a massive crowd, and I had seen some crowds as a classical dancer. Like, I had done festivals with like 20,000 people there, so I had experienced it, but this was bigger than I'd ever seen, and I could see like a wave of energy, like it was like coming off the crowd towards me, and then it like went through me like this, and then I was like, I don't know, I could see out of my own eyes. I knew they were my own eyes, but I knew that I was stronger. I was like, how if I play the character, there's a different person that comes out versus like this person. So it's like, I knew I was looking out of eyes like this, but I didn't know how to get there. And I remember when I got back into my into that moment, I was like, how do I get there? And it's been this constant, one foot in front of the other, knowing that like that is a real moment. Like, I have physically felt that energy, and I don't know if I've arrived there. I've seen things that are close. I've experienced some crazy crowds, I did like Wembley with A.R. Rahman, and before I walked out, it went completely dark, and everyone just put their phones up. So it's like, okay, like I'm gonna come out to a star-filled sky. Like, I've had crazy experiences, but I still haven't had this moment yet.
You haven't?
Not yet. It hasn't come yet. So I'm still becoming her.
Wow.
I know I still need to get there.
Yeah. Are there moments that you feel unworthy? Are there moments that you have to fight off in your head to remember this dream and what you're fighting for?
I have good friends in my life that will like punk me and be like, they won't allow me to stay in my depression for too long. But I do believe that we have to feel all the emotions. There was so much bottling up of like never allowing myself to like speak on my fears, but they literally like will implant themselves in your body. Like, either it's like the swelling, the cortisol, the no melatonin, vitamin D deficiencies, like all of these things manifested in my body. And like now I've been on this process of like, my New Year's resolution was to be like into like, what was the word I wanted to use? Embodied. I want to be embodied. I want to do everything from an embodied space where I'm present. And then the other New Year's resolution was to learn archery, which it took me 6 months to take my first class. It was like June 1st, and I was like, holy crap, hold on, wait, archery. And then I was like, I better start. But yeah.
Are you getting any good at it?
It's like a parallel to my life. Like, whatever I'm going through, I also experience in that class. Okay. And it like helps me.
It's also therapeutic.
It's very, and I think there's like a direct like pipeline from being a classical dancer to wanting to learn archery. I think like we just have been doing it for so long. Did I knock something else over? We've just been doing it for so long. So now I get to really do it. So.
Yeah. What does self-love mean to you?
Well, it's the first step of self-love, which has got me in the frequency of continuing other things, is skincare. It is the easiest
I did not expect that.
Do. It's the easiest thing to do, to take care of yourself. And even when you don't feel good about yourself, you're reminding yourself. You're like, no, I love you. You're going to wear this. Like, we started, me and my bestie, Mira, we started doing these rice masks, rice, milk, and honey. You can use vegan milk, I'm sure, or something else, to rose water. But we started, like, I was in America, she was in India, but we were doing it every day. I'm like, did you do your mask? She was like, yeah.
Mask accountability.
Mask accountability. But it just kind of started this process. And then I just, like, allowed myself to enjoy it. Like, I feel like sometimes I would just be like, you can't enjoy anything right now because your life isn't on fire. And where's your album? And when's the last time? And you're only as good as your last song. And now someone wore your outfit. So are you special now that someone else wore your outfit? Like, all this chaos is happening.
Yeah.
And then it's
pressure.
like, and then the flute music starts. And then I'm just like, and then I just like start doing gua sha. And I just feel like if I make the chai, I put on the flute, I light the incense, and I do the skincare, and I put my face in the ice, and I reset my vagus nerve. If I'm still upset after that, then like then like I have to get into it. But like if I have to do all those things before I decide that I'm like irritated.
Wow. I'm gonna sign up to this routine.
The water bowl thing is the best.
The ice bowl.
Yes.
Wow.
Because it actually resets your vagus nerve. Like you get like this like brain freeze that goes down your whole body.
And I think we need that with ADHD. I think your brain's talking all the time. Like there's never a moment of silence. Like it's constantly on. So just to have that moment where like literally time is frozen.
In the beginning, I was like, I think I drowned in my past life because like I put my face in 1/2 inch of water. I'm like, I'm like, okay, clearly this is a sign that you have to calm down. I'm like, how can you have fear in a bowl of water 1 inch deep? Like, so it's been a process, but the ice brings me back. I do it in hotel rooms. They're like, what? I'm like, can I get a pasta bowl? And I worked it all out. I even get the rice flour in hotels.
It's like, what is this woman doing?
I'm like, don't worry about it. Just send it. Yeah, it's a vibe.
I did not expect that for your definition of self-love.
It's the first step, I would say. I feel like there's a lot of artists that, okay, the Vedas are playing, right? And it's like we heard them and wrote them down. I think all music is like that. And I think like when people start getting the same types of channels, it means that information is supposed to be heard, and like whoever is
on that
present and tapped in are gonna get these same concepts. Like I love her music. That's some music that I hear where I'm like, I wish I wrote this. Like I wish God delivered these words to me.
King's
like,
Affirmation and Jericho. It's just something else.
I listened to it like I remember driving. I think when it came out, I was in LA. And I was just like driving, listening to it in loop, and I like crying. But that's powerful music.
But the way you describe it is like a source outside of yourself. Like you tap into something, it's coming from a source, and you're tapping into that, and that's where the creativity flows. It's like something else is speaking to you through you.
I feel like the song is already written and it's in the space. And then like I used to always say this when I was a songwriter, that like each of us in the room are gonna hear a certain part of it, and then it's always interesting, like when we all agree that the song is done, like, no, it's perfect. It's because there's a frequency that literally like, it's bugging you. You're like, no, I need to add something. Yeah. And then finally all of us in the room are like, no, it's perfect. So that means that it's made already. And we're just trying to like hear it, like, you know, archaeology, like you're just trying to uncover it and present it. And that's why I think melody is king. It's the first language, because the melody is really what you remember. Like, you could change the lyric. I mean, we experience it with pan-Indian films. The language changes. There's 3 versions. Yeah. So the language is secondary, you know? So I think there's something about that.
Yeah, that's what there. Your music reminds me of her music, or the other way around. Actually, it's so powerful.
Huge compliment. I take that.
I listen to that in the shower and like, I'm ready for this day, you know? Like I feel like I can take on anything. Where do you get that sense of, you know, power from?
No, I mean, it's totally a channel. Like when you were saying this just now, I literally in my spirit was like, God, give me the songs again. Like, I want to hear another song like that like inspires, like be the channel. Like, I think if you are the writer, if you're like, I'm in the room, I'm Rajakumari, and I'm going to write this, like, I went through like bouts of writer's block because the character had become like more, like there was so much, like there were so many expectations of what kind of mask I was supposed to wear because the hyper masculine demon slayer had cut through. It was like I had to be her. Like if someone didn't have my room ready, it's like I had to bring that character out because that's what they were looking for, you know? Yeah. But the masks are like, they're just heavy sometimes. They're not meant to be worn forever. But I would love to get a song that I wouldn't need to wear a mask for. Like I have a song I wrote when I was 18. And I remember when I wrote it, I thought, well, this is not normal. Like, this shouldn't come out in one, like, it shouldn't be a transmission. Like, you know, you shouldn't just write a song this intense. And I was like, I think I'm supposed to pursue music. And the lyrics were, I'll say them for you here, but it was, if you want salvation, why segregation over divine inspiration? Revelations are just the words. God answers every prayer heard. I've read the Gita, I've read the Bible. You could say I'm a disciple of this truth that speaks in the Quran, and the Guru Granth Sahib will go on to speak light every day, that we all pray the same way, but we're so busy fighting, spend our lives denying that the truth is at our human roots. If you search for Atlantis or Eden, better pray for the waters receding. Lost in time is the prophet's stream. Beware, these books can be misleading. They draw the lines of war, putting bodies in the floor. Drugs like demons possess, boatman will take you to the shore, but you gotta pay the toll. While the scales of justice judge your crimes, let Anubis see if your heart is light. Is it lighter than a feather? Then your karma's doing better. Freedom, freedom. I just went on.
Oh my Lord, if that doesn't tell you what you're supposed to do.
I haven't released this yet. I want to put it on the next project. I've always been saying, like, how do I express myself in a way that people will be willing to receive that song from me? Like, that's one of the first songs I wrote where I was like, oh my God. And I ended up recording it. So I wrote it originally on the Road to Zion instrumental, which was produced by Stephen Marley. And in 2014, I got to work with Stephen Marley. And I told him about the story, and he made me the track on Bob Marley's guitar.
Wow.
With the same keys. And I recorded it, and most of the recording is in like one take. And it's kind of crazy to think like I might include a recording that's over 10 years old on this next project.
But you absolutely have to. That's beautiful.
I don't want to re-record it because it's like, it was so moving. And since I recorded that song, I'm like, how to get the people to receive this type of information from me.
What do you mean receive that information?
Like, where's the place for that? Like, so when you think about a song like that, I think about like a big festival stage with open air and people open to hearing music, where music in this country is limited to like a club, a festival date that's produced by an alcohol brand, or like a alcohol branded, or like a chai branded song. Like, this is, the entire industry has gone in this direction. And you know, I feel like something like this song, it needs to be, it's spiritual. It was delivered to me in one sitting. I was like, who the hell writes like this? I was like scared of it actually when I first wrote it.
The power of it.
It was too powerful.
Yeah, you've made space for so many things that didn't have a space, right? And I know you're gonna find a way to make space for this as well. Yeah.
I mean, now I just said it out loud on your podcast, so it has to come out now. 100%. Now it's in the world. Now people,
you've put it out there.
I'm ready. I think I've come to become an artist that people could receive that song from now. They might be a little mistaken by versions of me that they've seen, or, you know, I've collaborated a lot. I've like become many different versions of myself, but I think I've settled here now where I feel really strong being both Sveta and Rajakumari. And I think like something, you know, when I wrote that song, I was only Sveta. I didn't have the Rajakumari title too at that time. So, you know, it's all coming back full circle.
What's a mask that you have to put down? Is it she's too Indian, or she's too American, or she's Rajakumari, or she's Sweta? Where do you find the balance in the duality?
Oh my gosh, they're all masks. You know about being unmasked. It's an ADHD thing. It's when you don't want to be perceived. Like if I'm home alone and I don't think anyone's going to be there, it's like, and if someone just appears home while I'm like, what? You've broken my bubble of solitude. Like,
we're two different people, you know? It's like the Shreya you know and the Shreya I am.
The one that's behind the scenes. I don't know. I think I finally like released myself from whatever I think Rajakumari has become. It's, for me now, I just know it's my channel. It's the way that I can, when I'm worried about my life, when I don't know what direction to go, this like powerful song will come through. And it's stronger than I can imagine myself. It's coming from a place that's like, it's already succeeded. And then I write the songs and they're always prophetic. And by the time they finally come out, I am living that life. I am meaning every word of that song. But when I write them, I have no idea. I'm like, really? Today you're going to write a song called Fearless? Like, there's a song on my last album called Fearless. It's the last track on the project. And we wrote it in January 21. I rented a cabin. It was like the first time they were letting us go outside during pandemic. We brought our equipment. We set up in a cabin for my birthday. And when I wrote the song, I had this vision of performing it on stage. And they were telling us, no festival stages, no more crowds, it's over. And like, you know, like I was at the peak, I thought, of my career at that time. I had just done MTV Hustle. I had put out the album. I had headlined every festival. I was like, just got signed to Mass Appeal. It was like, I'm on fire. And it was like, sit down. And I just knew in my heart that like, no, this song is meant to be performed like properly. And I got to perform it last year, and I performed with John Legend.
Wow.
Yeah, in Mumbai. And the song wasn't even out yet. But I decided, I'm like, I'm performing it because I don't know when the stage is coming. You know, and I sang it and it was so emotional because it was actually the moment. It felt exactly like what I had pictured when I was recording
You're
it.
such a powerful manifester.
We all are. That's the thing. I think like just by maybe somebody hearing me talk about that, they'll be like, wow, my intuition tells me things and I never believe it. But it's like the more you believe the things that pop up and you like detach yourself from the, what it could mean or like the ego of it. If you just like become an instrument, like it'll start going hyper speed. Like I wrote something on my board and like 3 days later it came. I was like, okay.
I'm going to write what I want in my husband on your board, then Sima Auntie's board. I think I'm going to put it on that board.
Listen, we got to go see Sima Aunty
Vegan
because I told my
husband.
mom I'd at least, if I'm not on any dating apps, I don't go outside. I literally watch Devil Ka Dev all time. And maybe Sima Aunty should help both of us.
Yeah, we're going to call her definitely. But do you still talk to the younger version of you? Do you talk to the little girl in you?
Oh,
Do you talk to Sweta?
Yeah, I one of my friends told me, like we're each other's therapists. I mean, I think like all of us have become each other's therapists.
I call it the blind leading the blind. I'm literally like, you don't have your shit together. I don't have my shit together. But sure, we'll tell each other what to do.
There's like ideas sometimes that will like plant. And so my friend Nidhi, she was kind of telling me about how like as we grow up, there's like versions of us that are frozen in these little traumatic moments. So whether it's like the childhood version of me that experienced whatever it experienced, or the high school version when someone told me I didn't feel beautiful for the first time and I thought like I had like my hair was too frizzy or whatever I went through. It might be small to other people, but like you freeze yourself in that moment. And when things happen to you, it's like one of those versions is reacting. So I've like started to like, I definitely think baby Sveta is right here. Like I'm like, don't you dare talk to her. Like I'm crazy with like the baby of me. So it's like
You're still the protector.
You can't overwork me to the point where I'll get sick anymore. Like if I'm not fed, I'm like, she needs to be fed. Like,
Snacks,
like which is
snacks.
No. I mean like on a 10-hour shoot, like I used to work for 10 hours and like at the end be like, I didn't even eat food today. And you feel exploited, in this industry if you don't like take care of yourself. So that's that, and I'm working on the teenage version of myself. I think that's the self-love. That's the like archery thing. I think it's like teaching like having fun again, and like maybe people had told me when I was a teenager, you can't play sports and you should do this. So I don't know. I'm just trying to break through all those things. But there's definitely a version of me that's stuck in Bandra too that I'm trying to bring her to the forefront. I'm like, you're fine now. You are in control now. You may have come into India and maybe didn't know a lot of people and didn't see the scene, but now you're the godmother and you can take care of yourself. If the Rajakumari that came to this country in 2016 came to me right now, she would have been protected. This never would have happened. Nobody would have used her name to do things or, made her believe that she was less than while they took her ideas and multiplied them or whatever. Like, could never happen now. So that's the safety and the joy in it, is like
you became who you wanted as a kid.
Yeah, and that was always the goal. I mean, even with the memory of the future, it's like there was this superhero that I knew what it looked like out of her eyes, and it's becoming closer and closer.
Yeah.
Definitely very, very close, but that crowd, I'm waiting for that crowd. I'm like, there's something coming.
I see that crowd, even if you don't.
It'll be there. I think also like there's such a like emphasis on age, right? Like, I always fight with journalists because I'll read like 100 articles on Badshah, Raftar, Honey Singh. I don't know his age. Do you know his age? Is there one article that says, I don't know if he's 42-year-old, nobody. But there's not one article that will not start with my age. And I've like checked.
Why is that relevant?
It is relevant in India. And I realize that now I'm entering a phase where I didn't want to be this spokesperson, but now I am. And, I just feel like there's this such emphasis on like this hurry and this like getting things done. But now I have completely surrendered to the flow. And I know that what I've done in my life for myself is special. And in my family line, I don't know how many women before me got a chance to like create their life like this. And I have to be willing to live differently. So it didn't happen in my 20s. It's not I mean, like, I don't think I would meet someone and marry them in 6 months anymore because I've learned so much. Like, I wouldn't want to do that. So it may not happen in my 30s if I want to take my time, you know? So I have let that go too. I'm just like, I just want a good partner that will help me grow and not be like jealous of my growth, or you know how many weird things are. We all diagnose each other's boyfriends and ex-boyfriends
100%,
too. So you know what's going on out there. There's no need for that. I like to chill alone.
Yeah, but that's so liberating.
Yeah.
That sounds freeing.
But everybody says when you stop looking is when it shows
When
up.
it
So
shows
Sky
up.
Daddy, I'm not looking. I'm very happy alone, Sky Daddy. Can you hear me? Okay.
And
I'm alone.
that's when you're gonna manifest it. Big fat ring on
A
your
nice
finger
one,
next
though.
time I see you.
I want to get married at Triyugi Narayan Temple.
You've got that as well. Literally, yeah. I have that. I have a vision board for my wedding. So I've got all the details figured out except the man. He'll come whenever he has to, when my Sky Daddy
Sky Daddy will deliver.
allows it.
But you have to like, isn't it weird? We have to like unlock things in ourselves and like stop
Yeah.
putting energy towards like the things that haven't worked or the
Yeah.
things we don't want.
That's what I mean. It's a daily learning, unlearning, right? And
That's
when I
part
asked
of
you about
self-love
your
too,
inner
yeah.
child, I feel that because sometimes I still feel like I'm talking to the 15-year-old Shreya, and she's the one who's reacting. And every time my therapist has asked me to, go into a room and like see where she is, maybe hug her. I can't do that without crying. I still
But cry.
can't do that.
Cry.
Like I can't talk to her without crying.
You gotta cry. You gotta write her letters. You gotta cry. You gotta do stuff she liked that she wasn't able to do. Like I was like super into NSYNC and stuff. So I mean, if I was going for my teenager self,
Yeah.
I'd probably do a choreography session of NSYNC. I don't know. I just
wanna hear
dated
that.
myself. Do you even know who NSYNC is? Oh my God. I'm just kidding.
Is there anything you tell your younger self, but also what's a promise that you're gonna make to your future self? More than
You know, I think the more common thought that I'm going through, because I'm like, everybody's living life for the first time. And I'm like, oh God, I think I'm fully adulting now. Like, I think it's happened. Like, I gotta accept it, you know? I think I just tell myself that it's always gonna work out. It has worked out. And all that worrying really just made me stressed and in turn made my face bloated, which is going against the skincare.
that's not helping the self-love.
You know, the lymphatic. And you need to take care of it because, it's serious.
Yeah.
It's
I do want to talk about body shaming. I
Okay.
do want to talk about fat shaming because that's also something that I've been through. And I know you said you were called chubby when you were 6 years old. And I hear it from the family, you hear it from people. How do you deal with it?
The mask, right? The armor. I think I made Rajakumari as a character, but I mean they're pretty mean online. I don't know.
Does it pierce through?
Of course it does. I think it does for everyone. And people ask me this question, but you asked it in such a nice way. Usually people are like, how do you have the confidence to do that? And I'm like, what a backhanded question. What do you mean how?
No, because
Every day I do it just like you. But you're saying actually like, just enjoying my own company, I guess. And like okay. I would feel the worst when I was agreeing with them inside, right? And then I realized that I did have this like negative critic that was like constantly there to predict the things that they would say. And I was going through a phase where it was like, my friends were like, dude, like, how is your brain that mean to you? Like, nobody is thinking like this about you. You're overdoing it. So there was like a process of like stopping that negative voice for some time. And then, then it was like, well, if I agree with them, am I just like mad at myself because I've lost like, because I was depressed or I wanted to like, there's so much that's happened to all of us, like, did I disconnect from my body? And then I feel like archery has been such a beautiful thing in my life between yoga and archery, because it's like I'm learning like Mahabharata style. Like it's like, like I'm in there. It's a vibe, I feel like just it made me have to like stand really straight, understand my posture, where I was putting everything, and my body just started transforming. Like, there's so many people that are like trying to make you take Ozempic or make you do all these things. And it was like, I just had it in my head that like, I don't want to just deal with what's the issue now, because I want to deal with my health. I want to be embodied.
Exactly.
I want to, if I'm not losing weight and I'm eating right, something's wrong. I got to figure out what's off, because
But you can be super lean and unhealthy.
Yeah, I mean,
as
like,
well, you know.
You can be, yeah, exactly. Of course, I mean, everybody has their issues. Like my friends that I'm like, oh my god, your body is like, you're like a long-legged, sexy lady. They're like, I hate this. So it's like everybody has it, this issue that they have with themselves. But I think like as soon as I started putting that time in my calendar and making people respect it, like, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, it's like 24/7.
Yeah.
But telling people like, no, I am not available from this time to this time because I'm doing my archery class. I feel like now if someone says something to me, I don't really care because they're not in my life. They're not waking up and lighting the incense and making the chai and like doing the things every day to remain happy. They're probably upset in their life. And they can't handle seeing someone love themselves through a transformation. Yes. I don't have to only love myself when I've reached the point that you find beautiful, because sorry to tell you, sir, if you want to go back to temple sculptures, they look a lot like me. So you should really recheck your idea of beauty and body standards. Because I'm happy to look like a temple sculpture that's been worshipped for thousands of years. That's fine with me.
It's just Devi energy through and through.
I actually read the Lalita Sahasranama. I read the translations. And I realized like, we're just kind of like, I think Rajakumari being a version of Devi, like in my mind, like another character of her. When I was reading the translations, it was like, oh, she with a waist so slender who loves champa flowers, and she who cannot be compared to anyone else, she who is above all. And then I was like, why did I make Devi like my main character energy? Like, I mean, I did, but I'm saying, how did I lose track of this? You know, like, how did I let people make me hate myself for the thing we're all worshiping her for?
Yes.
Like how did this happen? That's when I realized it's all perception and it changes.
You're so right about that.
Today it's you know, now it's going Ozempic and then they're like, oh, it's like heroin chic, which is so destructive, so counterproductive. I'm like, I want like Ayurveda, yoga. I want my back to bend in half. I want to float like in that crow posture, like that to me. If you still think I'm chubby after that, like, why do I care? I'm like gonna live a long, healthy life. Yeah. If I'm doing these things.
You nailed it. I think it's about not internalizing those voices. And that's what it is. When you said you start believing those messages is when it gets to you, because it really shouldn't matter, right? And people don't care about mental health. People don't care about anything else that you're going through at the time. It's just about, we're so obsessed as women with losing weight. We're so obsessed with, I'm like, why are you spending so much of your mental energy just focusing on that instead of everything else that makes you beautiful? And it's not mutually exclusive. They're like, oh, you look so nice now that you've lost weight. Oh, yeah. People would see me and I'd put on like 10 kilos. I was going through something and it wasn't about what I was going through, but it was, oh my God, you've put on weight. Not how are you doing? It's either you've lost weight or you've put on weight. That's
in our culture. It's very strange. It's very strange. But I would say that you just have to remember to get rid of the negative voice in your head, because the second that they agree with the negative voice in your head is when it's going to happen. Yeah. When you're going to be affected, when it's going to bother you, when you're like, I don't want to go outside. You're right, I do have a double chin. Like, you just use a gua sha. Like, use a gua sha, guys. Everything can be solved through skincare. It's my way of things. But yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, you can't... They're sad. And have you ever noticed if you say something back to them, like I used to always, like, every now and then I'd come out like, that's not what your dad said or something crazy. I just like try to tell them, yeah, your dad liked that fat ass though. Like, I don't know why I would even go in that direction, but sometimes they get that version of me. And then they're like, oh my God, ma'am, I'm such a big fan. I didn't think you'd ever reply. I'm like, why did you say the meanest thing that I said to myself inside? So once I realized that was what's happening and I got rid of that negative voice, I became less vulnerable to it affecting me, because I'm like, but I'm detached now. Like, I'm like, oh, these are just photos, and
I'm going to feed your tone to my ChatGPT and I'm going to make my ChatGPT respond to all those comments. I think that's what I need.
Oh, like, I'll be like, I'll show you. Beep, 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 beep. No, beep, beep. Sorry. I learned a lot of things in Mumbai. Not perfect Hindi, but a lot of little galia. I have them all ready.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah,
I think that's survival checklist, like 101. Yeah. Objectification in rap. I do want to talk about when we're talking about hip hop and rap, there's so much objectification. There's so much toxic masculinity. How do you navigate that? And have you seen artists change that narrative as well?
See, we're in such an interesting position in India, I would say, because this objectification begins in the West, right? Like, I'm not saying that we learned it from them, but the hip hop originates from New York, Los Angeles, the movement. And I believe, like, I always tell people that, like, Desi hip hop, like Indian hip hop it's like the seed of hip hop was planted in a different soil, but it's as real. It has all those branches. It comes from angst. It comes from the need to express, like, you know, these feelings that are not able to be understood through other things. So there's something that's so authentic about Indian hip hop, but in a lot of ways, it's like a double-edged sword, because in America, we'll be like, yeah, we love this song, and he'll be saying the most ridiculous things, or even the women saying it about themselves, which is why I feel like sometimes in the past I didn't feel like I could compete in that space, because I didn't want to go in that direction and like objectify myself or talk about
which is what sells.
Which is what sells, and which is why I kind of left America, because I was like, I don't want to be up against, like, I was at Epic, so I had like the biggest female rappers are like on the same lineup, and I'm like talking about like Baga Gunguru Bang Mira Nachire, so it's like it wasn't making sense. But I feel like also the double-edged sword on that is that the boys get in a lot of trouble here for mimicking, like, you know, for saying the same things that people say in America. So we have all these standards with it. But I think that we can't police so much. That's the crazy thing. Like, we're experiencing it. We're watching in real time horrifying things happening, you know? And people will try to trace it back to a film or a scene or a character or go all the way back to the whole thing. It really starts with you, right? It starts with you and the kind of music you want to listen to, what kind of energy you want to let in your life, and what kind of, you know, music you would make as an artist. And I think, like, people will find their tribe. And I don't want to, like, judge the boys for, like, of course I don't want them to say horribly misogynistic things and be disgusting, but it's like, I don't know, I've learned about India that there's an audience for everything, you know?
Yeah.
I just stay away. I don't try to control other people, but I would hope that the impressionable people that do listen to it can see through it, can hear through it. But
are you seeing a shift in that, though? Are you seeing...
Where?
Would you want to see a shift in the lyrics or,
Of
you know, the
course.
misogyny and the do you think that's happening?
I mean, we're in, like, a little bit of a safe zone. It hasn't fully come here all the way where, like, the women have to do it as well. I mean, I don't know. We can start saying, I don't know about the item numbers.
Yeah.
I don't know. It goes in all these directions. I think we just have to, we have to elevate people that are saying things of substance. Like I said, there's an audience for everything. Like, you'll see the most, like, weird things on the internet, and you're like, who's watching this? And it has, like, millions of views, and it's like some random person dancing in the gong with, like, a weird outfit. You're like, how is this happening? So I feel like as a culture, as a creative, like, society, we need to, like, elevate things that represent us accurately. So, like, I love all the Coke Studio stuff. I love, like, all these fusion records that are coming. I love the records in vernacular languages from the South, you know. It's a really exciting time, and I think there's so much to focus on that's, like, really great in the industry, that people are getting a chance. I would love to see a lot more women getting chances, a lot more girls getting chances. I'd like to see a lot more girls on the lineups at festivals. I feel like
Headlining,
yes, but even on the lineups. Like, because I came through, like, my shots are Mardini and, like, was like, I'll cut all your heads off. I got to headline stuff, but every time I did a show, I got better, right? I learned how to control the crowd. I learned what order to put songs that people will enjoy. And if you don't give people opportunities, like, we're not going to grow. We won't be exported to the world as Indian talent, you know?
Yeah.
We need more. That's it. I'll keep saying it. I'll stand on that soapbox that there's been some change, but more is needed.
Definitely. I had Sukriti and Prakriti on the show, and we spoke about this. We spoke about representation. We spoke about airtime that male artists get as well, and how important it is for people to literally listen to women, to listen to more female artists. And that's so important. Songs written, produced, created by women. Because, you know, we spoke about the dearth of female songwriters as well, and how our POV is not being heard.
Our POV is being written by men. I was listening to, like, some Punjabi music, and I don't really understand it, so I start, like, Googling, like, the meaning.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's always like a man singing from a female's perspective. And it's like so toxic. I'm like, it's like, oh, I'm in love with him. He just gave me some water. I'm like, bare minimum. He looked at me and now I'm in love. Bare minimum. I'm like, where is the accountability? I'm like, no, don't tell us that we fall in love over nothing. So, I mean, yes, we need more female perspective in the songwriting space.
I need you to raise our standards for
I'm
what
working
love
on a
is.
remix that is our response. I don't know. Maybe it'll be out by the time this is out. But yeah,
I hope so.
we need more.
Yeah,
But there are more. Like I saw it when I was at All About Music. I sat on a panel 2 years ago and I taught a songwriting workshop. And all the questions at the end were just women being like, I have songs. What do I do with them? And I realized like when I was growing up and I started my career as a songwriter, over a decade ago, in LA, there was a place for my songs to go. There was a publisher ready to receive the records, to pitch them for TV, film, albums, put me in the room with artists to try to write a song with them. There was an infrastructure. So I hope that is the legacy I will try to build here so that, somebody with talent doesn't need to be plugged or from the right family or do something crazy or go viral for like doing something weird online and then have a music career. It's like we need like an infrastructure where a musician doesn't have to be an influencer and a pop star. They can write songs and be behind the scenes. It doesn't have to be so much because the industry is run by the people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like I'm a behind the scenes person too, So I want more of that. I'd like to encourage that.
Same, I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Tell me about what it was like working with Shah Rukh Khan.
Shah Rukh Khan. Googly
Both
eyes.
from the little girl and the adult perspective.
Shah Rukh Khan is on my vision. There's a vision board that was made almost 15 years ago. And it's quite crazy how much of it has come like almost identical to it from the Times Square.
Do you still have that? Do you still have
Oh
the
yeah, it's on the
original?
wall.
Okay.
I take it. It's like a big one. It's like a giant one, and I made it, and it was like my whole life what I wanted. And it's so crazy because there was like a giant Ganpati, and I didn't know about Visarjan. I just was like, I want to live where there's a giant Ganpati. So it's like I have Mumbai on there. I have like there's like a crowd that I remember. I was like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever see a crowd like this. And if you see a photo of me opening for Wiz Khalifa in Delhi, it's that exact looking shape of the stage, identical crowd. The Times Square billboard, I pasted
had
myself. That? Yeah, I actually took a Diddy billboard and I pasted a picture of myself in like a lehenga. And I ended up being in a sari on the Times Square billboard. And it's creepy because even the picture I have, it's like almost similar. Yeah, it's very similar, which was crazy. And Shah Rukh is on there with DP, with Deepika for Om Shanti Om. And I was with both of them for Javan, So it's pretty crazy. And I have Shah Rukh on there more than once. And I even told Suhana the story that I have a picture of Shah Rukh and his family, like before Abram, like the two kids. And I was like, I don't know, I guess I put it on my board because I wanted to like meet Shah Rukh. I wanted to know him. Like I felt like he would like be the type of energy that I would just love to like know. And then I told Suhana, I was like, wait, just not to be creepy, but you're like a baby on this. I did like, I know you now and like I will like, like if you ever go to Suhana's page, it's like there will be one thirsty comment from me being like, we love you. You are the best. You are number one. It's like, I am there to tell Suhana how great she is at all points in time.
Godmother.
It's my job. I'm ready to do it. Yeah. But she's on there too, so Madhuri's on there, like everybody's on there. And it's and there's a little husband section that has to come, but it's coming closer and closer.
It will.
Yeah.
But you manifested that as well, working with SRK, having him co-write.
Oh, you were asking me about SRK. I lost it. So SRK, he's on the vision board, and that's one part of it. So I've actually I got to work with him on Zero the first time, which was Husna Parcham, where he actually called me and I had been working on the song and I wasn't able to finish it. I went back and forth with the music director and they kept asking for something that didn't sound good to me at the time, I was like, okay, I'll try it. But now it's just you guys have written the song and I'm not really doing my thing. It's like, and I was like, you guys. Anyways, bless him. The song turned out great. Not trying to be rude, but I'm just saying it was a little a language barrier, almost like musical language barrier because I wasn't in the room. I was in America. And when he called me, there's a video of me crying. I'm like, yeah, of course I can do that. Just crying. And Javan, again, I get the call and it was on the day my album the bridge came out. So I was like in America, the album was coming out. I have everything lined up to like post. And I get a call from Anirudh, and he's like, you know, I'm calling you, so I needed it yesterday. Like, you literally have, like, I need it 6 hours ago. So if you could write it right now, I like drop everything I'm doing. Like the day the album's coming out, I record it. And, you know, the song goes, they don't make any changes, whatever it is. And then I'm like,
they don't make a single change.
Barely. Like, he was just like, I love it. And then he was just like, do this twice and like, come back to this part, do it 2 more times. I'm like, okay. Running with King Khan. Like, I was just happy to do it.
I want to hear you sing it.
Okay. Running with King Khan, bullets rain down like it's thunder. Ready or not, she got the Glock, she'll put you under. You know it's game time on the front line till it's over. Deep in the trenches for ya, like a soldier.
Goosebumps.
Soldier.
Goosebumps. Like you came out of my Spotify playlist in real life.
I will be coming to a stage near you very soon. It was funny. He said, Anirudh was like, I can only tell you 2 things about the film. Shah Rukh's with a gang of women, and there's a lot, like a gang of girls, like they're all like a girl gang. And I was like, oh, I know why you called me then. Like, you need girl gang energy. I'm going to go hard. And he goes, yeah, and it can be a song about Shah Rukh. I'm like, wait, I can say King Khan, like you're allowing this? And he's like, yeah, just say it. Because usually if you're playing for a character, you can't like acknowledge
the real
Shah Rukh, you know, but they were like, go for it. So I thought I got the job of my life. Like, a huge Shah Rukh Khan fan gets to write like a song that he possibly might walk out to like for a long time in his life. Like, that might be his theme song.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
That's insane.
But he's just very present. I mean, I have crazy stories. I was like, there's like weird stuff. Like, they're like, sing it. And I'm like singing it. And then he's just there. Like, I don't know. It's just been, it's very validating. And a lot has come from that. Like, I meet people, I'll get like an offer and they'll be like, Shah Rukh told me about you. I'm like, did he? Then you know that I'm the right person for the job and you should give me the money that I asked for. Like, I'm like empowered by like, yeah, but you know who told you about me, right? Would you like me to call him? I'm like, just bullshitting. Like, it's, now I have it, you know? But
I love that you can just use that.
I'm just, I mean, I don't know. If it comes from Shah Rukh, it must be good, right? Right? Yeah, that's how I try to tell him. Like,
do you believe that this is your life sometimes? Like, just zooming out, looking at everything you've done, looking at that vision board and living these experiences. Do you sometimes have that disconnection almost, that disconnect, that is this my life? Have I created this? Have I worked towards this? What does that feel like?
Oh, I think the more and more wild the situations become, I feel like the more spiritual I become. Because I'm like, wow, I just told Sky Daddy I wanted this. And it's here. Like, I am creating my universe. Like, exact situations that I'm imagining are playing out. If I have the patience to wait for them and I don't like start doubting if I'm worthy to receive it, like, things have started shifting. Like, maybe it's not being seen, but when you pull an arrow back, first it goes back before it shoots forward. And you know, everything has become symbolism to me. I always say, like, God is my favorite artist. He's my favorite writer. He has the best, you know, stories and allegories and all those things. And I think I have to pinch myself for sure. I'm like, oh yeah, this is casual. Like, this is totally normal. Madhuri and me are like besties, totally normal. But I don't know. I asked for it and I'm worthy of it. That's what I've been told in the last year over and over through my life, is that you are worthy of the things that you're asking for. And if that dream even is in your heart, it's because I spoke it in your ear. Like, it's not like we're making it up and itni himmat to imagine that I could be there. It's like, well, he's in my ear telling me, like, you will do this. And I'm like, gotta get there.
That's where the audacity,
the audacity to believe is very, very important. You have to like, you cannot give a second thought to that, like, vision.
There's nothing you believe is not good enough.
It's possible.
Or big enough
Shah
for
Rukh
you.
Khan walked me down, gave me a kiss on my cheek, and shook my driver's hand. I was like, Switchy, look, you met Shah Rukh Khan today. Like my vision has now extended into people around me. Like, of course it's real.
What's the dream you're waiting for? What's the dream you're waiting for it to come true? What's the next big thing on your vision board? Apart from the husband.
The
Grammy.
The Grammys? Like,
yes.
I've been nominated, which was a beautiful thing
a big deal.
to make my parents allow me to continue with music.
Yeah.
That was great. But I've been like on this mission of like, I don't know, I took on other missions. I was like, I gotta do this, I gotta prove this. Now I just want to go back to making music. I want to make a beautiful album that's, you know, transmitted to me, that makes a difference, that, you know, is respected by my peers and is finally celebrated, and that I get to represent India on a world stage. That would be a great honor to me.
It's beautiful. Are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of how far you've
I
come?
am right now. I can hear how much growth I've gone through, and I'm like, I know I was super unhinged before. So if people resonate with me now, like, that's great. If they liked the old version of me, I miss old Raja. It's like, I can only be who I am.
Yeah, you've made the little girl proud as well.
Yeah, she's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's back to classical dance. She's not scared of anybody. She knows that I'll beat the crap out of anybody that tries her, and that I won't let her be exploited, and that she gets to sleep and eat on time. That's it. I'm sure I could handle actually like raising a baby now that I've raised my inner child. Now I've had the training. I'm like, you know what? You got to make sure you don't like dump this stuff on to the next generation.
You've got Lalu, right?
I have Lalu, yes.
You have Lalu, yeah.
I have 2 dogs. I have Love and Kush. They're 2 Frenchies.
Love it. There's so much Devi. Like, there was so much like the goddess energy, but also forms of Devis, all of that. But Devi Vishwakumar, never have I ever.
Yeah.
I don't know what that felt like, what that was like for you watching that.
So that was a super trip for me, because she goes to like Sherman Oaks High School, and I literally have a house in Sherman Oaks.
No way.
Yeah. And the experience, like her high school experience, was very similar to mine in a lot of ways. It's just that, like, and also there's in the episode, she says, like, I'm just not Indian enough for the Indians.
Exactly.
And I had literally released NRI like the same week of that episode, and I had that lyric.
What
So
are those
it's,
lyrics? I think I
sorry that my sorry ain't Indian enough.
Indian enough.
When America don't love me because I'm Indian as beep. Yeah. I think, and you know, I got to be a part of that show. You know, 2 of the seasons had my music in the soundtrack.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Karma and The Dawn.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think it was really special because I know that that was a moment in like culture, like a culture shifting moment. And there I am on the soundtrack. So I feel like Sky Daddy wanted to make sure that I don't forget that I'm, even if I'm not in America, that I'm still part of it, and all the work that I've put in is being
full circle.
seen and heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to work on Never Have I Ever, and a lot of the diaspora expressions, you know. I got a song on there was like the summer wedding film. Netflix has a lot of fun stuff. I've worked on a lot of film stuff.
That's so cool. That's honestly so cool, because Never Have I Ever was so relatable. I think not just to the diaspora, to NRIs, Indian immigrants everywhere, but I think
everybody
it was
kind of
super
saw
relatable.
Us it, yes.
Yeah.
I definitely was getting nostalgia on a few episodes. I mean, I definitely wasn't as like sex crazed, I would guess, as Devi is, but like for sure, more power to her. Maybe because she comes off of
it's
what
coming of
our
age.
first and second generations built, where like we became part of the culture, that like she gets to just be a person, a human being, and like express herself. Like it felt like a sign of the times, because if I had tried any of that at my age, I'm sure my parents would have like locked me away. I did do crazy things that they don't know about, you know, like I was definitely a little adventurous and definitely a rule breaker, but it's to each their own. But yeah, it was a fun show.
You felt seen.
Of course.
You felt seen and
it was like,
and
I felt seen, and I was also like, am I real? Like, I'm like, do I need to like put out on, I used to get like stressed. Like I would have to like release things when I saw, but now I'm like, it's like, when you see like 444 or 333 or 222, you see the angel number. It's like,
the angel number.
It's like a confirmation. I feel like when I see projects that like have similar ethos or have similar inspirations, or they want to accomplish the same thing, I'm like, all right, we're all tapping in now. Now we're really getting it together. And it can make you feel like I had that idea and I didn't do it. But then I just now, because I've gone through such a transition, I've changed teams and changed things, and like, you know, it's like you can't rush anything.
Yeah.
Now I've just become master of detachment. I'm like, okay, it's happening. So the next idea will come to you, and you have to be ready to move when it's your time.
I love that perspective.
Yeah, because we
That
can't get
everything's
stuck.
about perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to
So
change.
is there anything you regret?
Oh, regret. I don't know. I guess like how long it took me to kind of like realize I was my own enemy. But
Standing in your own way?
even in the words I was saying, I would be like, I want this, but even in that, like right there, you're like blocking the blessing as it's coming. It's like it's waiting on this side, and they're like, I can't give it to her. She keeps saying, but. So I feel like I regret, like how long it took me to see my own worth. But everything comes in its time. So I don't know if regrets are real.
So has the self-sabotage stopped?
A lot. There's still some of it. And I have my good friends to call me out on it. They're like, do you know what you did? And I'm like, I know what I did. Yeah.
That's beautiful to have people like that.
I work hard to keep the relationships that mean a lot to me. And I try to be really accountable and coachable, because I'm sure it's not easy sometimes because when I'm passionate, I have the audacity to believe in my dreams. I'll be like Kurukshetra, like it's straight, like I'm like I get super serious. So like my friends really have to go hard with me.
Yeah.
So I try not to take them to battlefield every time. And like I try to like keep it
easy on each.
Yeah, because if I lose my cool, then the whole battalion is coming. Like they're gonna be like, "How dare you?" So I've learned to maintain my cool so that I don't, make everyone lose it around me.
You love fashion. It's
Yes.
not just about the music, but you really look at it as art, like really bringing out the holistic perspective of being an artist.
Mm-hmm.
What does fashion mean to you?
Oh my gosh, it's like the canvas through which I express myself sometimes, because as a classical dancer, like we can learn and wear like, our kurta when we're practicing, but like when I'm on stage, this is like a 6-piece costume. I have makeup that took 2.5 hours. I have buns and jewelry and flowers and alta. It's like you go down to the details, So when it comes time to presenting myself on stage, I've been in that makeup chair since I was 6 years old doing this. So it's like I can't, like how I'm dressed right now, I couldn't go on stage like this. And I used to not even go outside like this. Like I feel like if I was to come to an interview or anything, I would be like neon and
That's what I
print.
expected.
I know. And I think like all credit to Mira, my best friend, who's also been like the creative force behind like my entire rebrand in the last 2 years, and even my entry into fashion. Like I used to think that couture was not for me because they didn't have my sizes, and it was really just I didn't have those relationships, and it took someone like Mira getting Rahul Mishra to make me things that were custom, that weren't even on his runway, mixing collections for what I wore on stage with like the John Legend show, or like going to Cannes and having Manish make me this like ridiculous red dress. The dress arrived in Cannes before me. I didn't even get a fitting. It just zipped closed, Like
Wow.
those moments are the times that I had to build my self-love, because I was convinced like, oh my God, it's not gonna fit. I'm gonna look fat in it. They're not gonna cover my arms, or they're gonna make me look like this. And then it was just like, zoop. And you're just like, I look amazing. Like you just have to start, seeing yourself like that. So fashion has been, I think like when I was a little confused about where I wanted to go in music, I was able to just like dive into how much fashion meant to me. And I think this is funny, but okay, when you do something and you're very OTT that it becomes almost like a costume over time, then other people can put on that costume. And I think watching that happen was, first it was like really cool because I'm like, oh my God, it impacted. But then it made me question, like, what am I? Am I just this combination of like high ponytail sunglasses and like oversized stuff? Like, is that me, or is there something deeper? And then I really went to the roots of like, no, I'm a classical dancer. Like I want to wear these details. It matters. And I think before I would just be putting so many things on to compensate for how I felt, maybe. I just would like just everything at once. And I think the process of peeling that back, like appearing like this and like dressing myself, doing my own makeup for things, like not thinking I needed like a hair makeup styling for every single time I walked outside the house. There was such a disparity between Sveta and Rajakumari, but now it's, through fashion, through like experimenting and seeing myself in all these things that I thought were just out of my reach, most empowering. Like Like I'll see something on the runway now and I'm like, I want that. And like I know that, you know, there's a way for me to be in that couture. Like somebody will, and I think people putting me in those couture pieces has also opened their mind to like what curvy bodies will look like in that. Like they're more willing to work with maybe a musician rather than maybe an actress because they have their own hierarchies with actresses and who can get clothes and who can't. But a singer is kind of like, it was different. And I feel like it even opened the mind of like a lot of the designers.
You've become their muse.
I'm happy to be the muse.
Oh, you look stunning because the first time I met you was at Anita Dongre's show
God.
last year in November, and you look stunning in that green sari. I still remember that. That was the first
So I did my own makeup that night and I wrapped my own sari. I remember thanking Mira because I remember looking in the mirror and just being like, I look like beautiful. Like I am the thing I wanted to become. Like when I looked at my mom and I thought she was so pretty, or I looked at Devi, or I saw Madhuri, it looked like this. And like this is, and like if I'm not comfortable with my body or whatever, I worked around it. Like she had made me a long sleeve blouse. So like I was fully comfortable. It was a beautiful moment. And I could just see myself going deeper and deeper into fashion. I went to New York Fashion Week and I got to see like a lot of South Asian designers. And it was just so much fun to like be in that like moment and see these cutting edge pieces and, bringing those inspirations into my costumes or like things we do. And it's just a fun time to be into fashion because Indian, couture houses,
there's so much you can
but we've
do with
always been doing the couture work. We've always been the karigars behind it. But now people are forced to like understand that like
recognize it,
recognize it,
give credit, all of it.
It's a crazy it's a crazy time.
That's amazing.
It's a good time to be from India.
Yeah, I'd love to see you take that on big stages. I was anyway super excited to talk to you just because as I told you, I was gravitated towards your energy, and I know it's going to be magnetic. But I think there was one conversation. There was the lie detector test.
Oh
video.
God, yeah,
the lie detector one. That was super funny.
Yeah, Nidhi Sunil was just asking me questions. That was a funny time.
You said you're vegetarian and you're almost vegan, and I'm like, okay, that's even more exciting now. Like I'm like, I have to.
I had a good vegan year during the pandemic, but I'm mostly vegan for sure. Like I don't really. I think the chai is the only thing that I.
It's vegan chai.
That's vegan chai. Yeah, I like vegan chai. I ordered that from Chaios. It's fine, but I think I've always been vegetarian, and there's been times in my life where like I tried like chicken and fish because I thought this will help me lose weight, and like someone had convinced me, but it just never suited me. It never stuck for me, and definitely, I think most Indian food is pretty much vegan.
It is.
Yeah. It's not like a really
all your chaat, South Indian food, everything, most of it is vegan.
Yeah, and if it's a vegan option, I usually get it when I'm traveling because then I know I have less chance of like it hurting my stomach and stuff. But I shame all my friends that are not vegetarian. Like during Shravan, a couple of my friends were actually vegetarian, so it was like so much fun because I'm like, I can eat from your plate and your plate and your plate. We can all share. And then now it's over, and I'm like, what animals are on your plate today? Whose sins are you ingesting? I'm so bad.
No, that sounds like me.
I'm the dark humor.
That sounds exactly like
No, I'm definitely at that. And I feel it's better for me. I mean, I think it's a personal choice. Everybody I think they all could be very happy and healthy as vegetarians, but it really depends. Like you have to pay attention and be embodied. Like it's very easy to just eat cheese and not cheese for you, but like bread and cheese and just stay in that zone, pasta and stuff like that, and say you're vegetarian. But if your body is not getting the nutrients it needs, then it's not healthy.
Yeah, you can be unhealthy on any diet. It's just about how you balance it. But okay, we're gonna do a really quick not tea session.
Okay, ready.
Sanskrit or slang? Which one's harder to rhyme with?
Which one's harder to rhyme with?
Sanskrit or slang? Or what would you pick?
I don't know, but I watch Devonka Dev, so I'll be like, Atyanta Prasannata. Like, I don't know. Joagya Maharaj. I don't think in Sanskrit or Hindi when I'm writing, so slangs are probably easier, so maybe Sanskrit's harder.
Your favorite slang?
My favorite slang?
Mumbai
Jugaad.
slang. Jugaad?
Yeah, I use it every day. I'm like, bro, I gotta jugaad this situation.
Bindis or bling?
Bindis or bling? See, I like bindis. I know I'm not wearing one today, but it's there spiritually all the time.
There was a meme, I think husbands call it the recording button.
Yeah.
Like it's always on and it just remembers everything. It records everything you're trying to say. Yeah.
I have one of those.
You have the recording button.
Yes.
Tabla beats or drums?
I think I play tabla. I'm always like, So I think tabla.
Can you beatbox?
Like an Indian version.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
What can you not do?
I don't
Just
know.
Like,
That stuff I can do.
sari or sneakers?
Sari or sneakers?
Yeah.
I used to wear them together back in the day. Back in my day of fusion dressing at the beginning. I'm actually enjoying saris more. I used to be like very hardcore sneakers, but I'm evolving. Like I'm trying to be a grown up, so I just wear white sneakers now, where I used to wear like every color in the world. The collection is very colorful.
I can imagine. I can't see without color.
Yeah,
Definitely
I know.
can't see without color.
I don't know. Maybe I'm the color now. Maybe my aura will shine brighter that I'm
Yeah.
not in neon pink.
Bhangra breakdancing.
Oh, I mean, I love Punjabi music. I'm a South Indian, but my entire playlist is Punjabi, so I'm gonna go with Bhangra.
Spiciest Indian dish you can handle.
I can't handle much.
You can handle spice.
I mean, but I still eat a mirchi bhaji. Like I'll eat
That's
it.
not spicy.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like that's spicy. Yeah, I'm American when it comes to spice. I know I'm South Indian, so I should be able to handle it. Some kinds of spice I can handle.
Little bit.
But the ones that keep building after you're done eating them, no. That's you gotta give me like a nimbu pani to handle that.
God.
It's not gonna work.
I like that you said nimbu pani and not, still Indian.
I was gonna say milk, but then I was like, I can't say milk to the vegan. So let me pretend and be like, nimbu pani.
Love it. Love it.
I was like, ooh, can't say milk.
Yeah, I was going to get cut out if you would have
She's
said
like,
milk.
I'm gonna cut it out because no one's talking about milk on my show. Sorry.
You're right about that.
She's like,
Favorite thing to do in India that you can't find anywhere else?
oh my God. I mean, just people watch. I mean, you can find it everywhere, but it's like special in India. It's like, look at that uncle. He's in a pink kurta, just living his life. Like, I just people watch from my balcony. So I just see like all kinds of lives. Like, I always see like boys jumping in the water in like a circle, and I'll just like watch them. Like, oh, look at India. Like, I don't know. I love people watching. But the food, Swiggy, bro. Swiggy will spoil you. You go to other places and you try to live like that Swiggy life, and you're like, $100. You're like, what? The hell? It's too much.
If not Rajakumari, what would your stage name be?
I have other names. Oh, let me see. What am I? Natya Mayuri, Natya Kishori, Bhala Nitya Kala Ratna, Kumari Swetarao, USA.
I'm glad.
That's my original name.
Yeah. Rajakumari is great.
Bhala Nitya Kala Ratna. The Kohinoor. That was my original name too.
Kohinoor.
I won the Kohinoor Award when I was like 9, which was like a huge award in America for like the diaspora. But I just remember it being important because I was the youngest person to ever win it. And after I won it, they changed the minimum age to like 15 because they were like, nah, no little kids coming in here taking the damn award. So it was one of those award shows where you go and you don't know if you're going to win. And then they like name you. So it's like, I just remember being like a kid and then, I still have it. So it's always been like attached to me, like something that I've always like written about and stuff.
Yeah. So Kohinoor could be the...
Yeah.
If your music was a spice blend, what would the dominant flavor be?
Oh, cumin? Why am I saying that? I'm like, I don't know. Red chili.
If your personality was a spice blend.
Ginger. Adrak. I have so many purposes. I'll clean you out. I don't know.
Love it.
I don't know. When these answers pop in, I'm like, I guess this is how I'm
You're
going to
gonna
answer
flow with
today.
it.
I'm like, adrak. No reason.
But you don't carry it with you everywhere.
I understood
you go.
the reason. I was like, you know what? I can detoxify. It clears my throat. It's very good.
Love it.
I need it. I'm like, what is this? This is not masala. I'm just kidding. Not this specifically. Rude. You're
Can't say
fine.
anything
You're
to
vegan.
vegan.
You're good. You're vegan.
I can't do this with a straight face.
I don't know. We're getting to that point where it's all comedy now. At some certain point.
If you could switch lives with any pop star for a day.
With who?
With any pop star.
A pop star?
Yeah, if you could switch lives with any pop star for a day. Who would that be?
Let me see. Who looks like they're having a fun life? I don't know. I like try to stay away from the switch lives thing. But
What about Taylor Swift?
Okay, no, that seems like a lot of pressure. Okay, that seems like a lot of pressure. And I already go through the whole like, people don't like me, but I love myself thing. Like, it's amplified by like billions, bro. Like, of course. Like, I hope when I reach that platform, everyone's just like, she's our Devi. We love her. Like, I want all the vibes. I don't want any of that hate. I don't know, like, I wouldn't want. This is so mean because I know these people. Let me not. But I was like, Diplo. But I'm like, don't be mean. Who has the best vibes? I don't know, like Adele. She has a lot of respect. She has a show that just was in one place all year, so she didn't have to travel everywhere.
That's true.
Yeah, she gets to sing her songs, and people are just happy to hear her sing.
Yeah,
I would love.
Every breakup gets everyone through every breakup ever.
Plus, like, she was, again, she channeled the perfect, group of words that made us all feel seen.
Yeah.
And my God, she uses her voice. Like, I think sometimes I'll hear like incredible like Bollywood songs, and I'll be like, why doesn't anyone give me these types of songs to sing? Like, I want to sing this type of fun song. So it's like Adele's songs are so moving. Like, what a blessing for those to be the songs that were delivered to her. I hope I get something like that too.
That's a great answer.
Sing my ass off.
Most embarrassing moment on stage.
Oh man, my pants definitely ripped open before, but nobody knew because I was wearing a cape. I used to have this thing where I would sit on the throne and I'd be like, Kra! Okay, and I went like, Kra! And I heard it and I was like, oh God. And I was in Jaipur and I had this cape, thank God. And I stood up and I could feel the wind. So I was like, I don't know how ripped it is in the front. So I was like trying to look, but I was like, Chubby's, I couldn't see. I was like, I can't see. And I had like a 40-minute set, and I just stopped. Like I used to have like da 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 before there was like all these moves, and I was like, and the knees were stuck together. And then when I came off stage, I went straight to my stylist, and I was like, what's going on back there? And I moved the cape, and it was just like fully open. So thank God for that cape. See, I love being extra. Because I don't know if I would have ever recovered from the full Monty that would have been exposed, the full moon.
Definitely
in Jaipur that night. Yeah, that wouldn't have.
I don't know if India was ready for that.
Somehow I survived. And the camera was like in my face. And I remember there was a point where they're like trying to get a bottom angle. And I was like, ah! And I was like running away because I was like, please don't give a bottom angle. And this is all happening in my mind while I'm rapping. I'm like still full force doing this stuff, and my whole brain is also, about this, like a whole nother commentary.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Going, where's that wind going? That doesn't feel right. Keep your legs together, like, and I'm still like, keep your legs together. Like, this is what was happening. So yeah, that was embarrassing.
That's hilarious.
I'm sure more things will happen in life, but that one will always stick with me. Could have been really bad.
I wanted to be like an ant on the wall or something.
Nobody
like
knew.
A fly on the wall.
No one
noticed.
No, nobody knew.
It
didn't rip in the front. It had stopped like right before the visibility space. Like Sky Daddy was like, "Don't wear pants too tight." I tried to tell you. You didn't listen to me. When you put them on, they were tight. Tried to warn you.
He still kept it together.
He said, "I gave you this cape because I know you would never recover." I would have just quit. I've been like, that was the last performance ever. Forget music. I'd be gone. I'm just kidding.
Whenever you start doing stand-up, I'm gonna be the first one to sign up.
I should.
I'm just telling you, you really need to. You said it. I said it here first. Okay. You need to become a stand-up comedian.
Let's see if my comedian friends will.
You need to have your own Trevor Noah sort of like show. We gotta make it happen. You're something else.
I got no problem telling stories.
Yeah, definitely some pre-performance playlist that might surprise someone.
Pre-performance playlist. I mean, now after this interview, you won't be surprised, but Shiva Tandavam Uma Mohan has to play every day. And most people on my team know when that song comes on, it's like,
shit's about to go
game
down.
Time. Everybody listen. Listen to this damn song. So we're all on the same page. But yeah, that's on the playlist that surprises people, but it's just heavy Punjabi. It's just heavy Punjabi. I don't understand. Is there a Punjabi man on his way that I'm like trying to learn the language for? Like I can't, I'm South Indian, I'm Telugu. Why so much Punjabi? I don't know. Something.
You're about to find out.
I don't know. I'm into it. Kurukshetra energy. It's a little bit.
Any weird habits no one knows about?
The Dev Ka Dev thing, I think. My Mahadev mornings. I don't know. That's not a weird habit. People find that weird. I mean, I'm like obsessed with the Mahabharata, Ramayana. I think because I explain it like growing up in America, everyone loved Superman and Batman, but like
you also studied religion, right?
Yeah, like I was like, who are they in comparison to the Hanuman, bro? Like, what are you? You're nothing. Yeah. So I don't know. I get really, and I think because I'm a classical dancer and I learned all these stories, like I will just watch these types of shows like endlessly, and it makes me like really happy. And like when there's no one else around, when I'm not being perceived, I'm the happiest. I'm like not being perceived, watching like some kind of itihas stuff. Like, I'm in it. I'm like, what?
Itihas stuff.
I'm like,
Love it.
wow, that's why that happened. Because in his past life, he did that. Like, I'm like, yes, I need to learn the math. That's it. Yes.
Ultimate Desi girl crush.
Ultimate Desi girl crush. I mean, Madhuri is what I always say. It's like out of my mouth before I can even form a sentence.
But number
But
two,
I love like Shobita, Suhana. I mean, I have a list of all of these gals. Nora, just whoa.
Yeah.
Shaking that body. I like it.
Love it.
Yeah, but I think Shobita is just she's a Telugu girl, so I feel like she reps us. You know, I just love her.
So cute.
How could I forget? Janvi. I love Janvi. I'll fight you. I love Janvi. I'm just kidding. No, because I'm Telugu and Sri Devi and Janvi, and actually Janvi is the first person that heard my music before anybody else because I met her when she was like 17, like in Los Angeles, like way before I released my first album. I met her like at a photographer's studio. So I don't know. I met her early enough that I'll cut you for her. I will cut, not you personally, but anyone. Like it's pretty much all my friends are like, you can't, like, you will not hear a bad word. Like I'll be like, obviously Janvi looked the best. I'm like, obviously she's a golden goddess sent to us from Sky Daddy. Like I love her.
She's
it's really
so
fun.
Happy
and she's doing a South Indian film right now. So I'm like, come back to your roots. Come back to us.
No, she's doing some great stuff for sure. And again, like fashion, super important.
Janvi, she goes, whoa, and then she gives a little twist. And I like that. I like that energy.
That is so cute.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of love for all the women that are, you know, really shining right now. And like I said, I think it's a great time to be from India. Yeah.
In one word, what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh, one word, my legacy. Yeah, godmother. I really want to make this infrastructure. I always feel like people can remember a song, or they can remember that I, you know, helped create an infrastructure for more musicians. And yeah, I want to be known for my philanthropy over my music. Yeah.
Any advice to anyone struggling with self-love, self-worth?
It's in your mind. Like, nip it at the bud. Figure out that you have that negative voice and kick that out first. Because it's going to be whatever you leave yourself vulnerable to, then it's going to like play out. Whether the people, the trolls agree with your inner negative voice, you just work on that one and everything will play out. And my biggest thing I always tell people is have the audacity to believe in the dream that you see. Because if that vision comes, it's for a purpose. It was given to you because you have the tools to be able to accomplish it. You may not have it in that moment, but you have to believe yourself worthy of the vision given to you by God. Like, you have to do that. So that's like all I'd say is like, I don't know. I can't tell you, you're going to be the biggest singer, or like you're going to be this. I don't know. You know if you're going to do it. You know if you've seen yourself. You know, I've seen some things. I've seen myself do some things. That's why I can sit here and just tell you about the day that one day there'll be
4 to 5 Grammys
in my hand. Either a baby or Grammys. I don't know. They both look the same.
Both.
Maybe the baby named Grammy. I don't know.
Baby named Grammy. I love it.
Lalu, Kushwant. We have everything.
You gotta have it all.
Yeah.
I want to wrap this up with a rap.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
One rap for women everywhere.
Women everywhere. Do I have a song? See, we talked about that. I'm like, as a songwriter, usually the things I write are like a before. Let me see. What's a good one for ladies?
Especially single, unmarried women anywhere.
Are
Questioning age, timeline. You know, my career makes me unmarriageable, whatever.
This is the exact topic of a song that is unrunreleased. Okay, so I don't know if...
Let's hear it. This is calling for it. This is, you know, that channel? It's calling for it.
Why don't you tell me which song you like of my songs and I'll sing for you?
Ooh.
Because I don't know if I want... I don't remember all the lyrics on top like this. Which song?
Born to Win?
Born to Win? Of course I can sing that. I'd love to sing that. Okay. This time I ain't playing by no rules. Huh. No more rules. I ain't got nothing left to prove to you, none to prove to you. I got nothing left to prove. I was born to win. I cannot lose now. I can't lose now. I can't lose now. I can't lose. I changed my perspective, switched the view. The view. I was born to win. I cannot lose.
Na 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 na, I cannot lose. Na 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 na, I cannot lose. Na 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 na, I cannot lose. Na 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 na, this time I ain't playing by no rules. No more rules. I ain't got nothing left to prove to you, none to prove to you. I got nothing left to prove. I was born to win, I cannot lose now. I can lose now. I can lose now. I changed my perspective, switched the view. I was born to win, I cannot lose.
Oh my God. That if there was ever a time for you to drop anything, the mic drop should have happened now. Like, honestly, wow.
That was a powerful channel.
Holy shit.
I was like, I gotta tell her, you gotta switch the view. I'm like, perspective.
I felt like that's what I mean. It felt like you were. I don't know what that did to me, but that was
it was to
that
you.
was
I mean,
incredible.
it was to all of us. It was the channel told me to tell you, so I was like, okay. She needs to hear this.
I heard that 11 times on my way here today. Like, I actually, like, your entire album today, I was playing it in the shower. I'm like, no, I just gotta...
You did hear my album.
Yeah.
Someone has heard my album. God wanted me to know I was successful, actually. Okay, you know what? That's right. I'm happy to hear that. Very special song.
Wow. That was beautiful. I'm going to take a while to recover from that.
I know. I was like, should I go in this high register? I'm going to do it.
You went for it. I was
like,
like, that's it. I can't come back.
Yeah.
Goosebumps. Like, just
I want to
literally.
be on
That's
stage, man.
You're meant for that. I can't tell you anything else, but that is it. Like, that is way beyond, I think, what is explainable. For sure.
I just want to be on stage. I feel like when I'm on stage, it's the purest connection. Like, it's just me and God. Like, when I get in that channel and I'm like, because I'm singing for you, I know that I want to go there, but I'm not actually telling my voice together. I'm just letting go and it's just going. So I'm like, okay, I love that experience on stage, just being like a vessel of the moment. And sometimes I'll see people and I know I'm supposed to tell them certain lyrics. I don't know. There's something that happens to me on stage that I really enjoy and I miss a bit. I'm ready to come back to stage. It's been quite some time. I've taken a break.
Oof. I can't wait to see you on stage. I think that's definitely...
Neither can baby Sveta. She wants to be back on stage for sure.
I think we're both rooting for you.
She's got ideas.
Yeah. Last question that I ask everyone is, so there's an aspect of it which is sustainability, but I see gender as a big part of sustainability and people don't see that as equity, how equity plays a big part in sustainability. So number one, what does sustainability mean to you and what does equity mean to you?
Wait, what does it mean to you? Hold on. Tell me a little bit. I'll tell you my answer, but you tell me.
I think it is that for me, sustainability is about conversations that are about equity on a planet where everyone can thrive, not just survive, but like thrive together, whether that's animals, whether that's people, whether that's underrepresented people. So it's just a beautiful way of coexisting together. That's how I see it.
Okay.
And it's not about recycling. It's not about, what people think.
It's like having just... Yeah, I feel like accountability is like a big thing with sustainability. It's like understanding that like I'm just one person living, but it's like you can make small changes in your life. Like I've noticed, like just using the reusable bottles. Like, I mean, you can see the trash when we walk around. Like a lot of the countries, they ship their trash to other countries to hide away so they can pretend that they don't have those problems.
The global north shipping food, everything, food, clothes, whatever.
Everything to this, and it's like, that's why I don't mind seeing it because I want to at least know the truth of what we're dealing with. But you said it was gendered. That's so fascinating.
Yeah, the Sustainable Development Goals, gender is number 5, like gender equity. And if you think about climate change, it affects women and children more than anyone else. Disproportionately affects women and children, whether it's child marriage or, floods, the mortality rate, it's always women and girls. There's so many other connections like child marriage. I didn't know this, but every time there's a climate disaster that happens, the gender violence goes up, domestic violence, gender violence goes up immediately. And people almost use their daughters for bride price to survive, to get out of a calamity. So there's so many intersections with climate change and gender. But I don't think you can live you can call this a sustainable world if everyone's not free. And that's why
you got a lot on the plate there.
gender is a big one.
That's a
Yeah,
deep
which
conversation.
is why I think I asked what equity means to you.
Yeah, I mean, I fought like all those battles of being like, I want to be paid the same as a man and all that. Like, and you know, I need to have like equal say. But I feel like we have different like tools to work with. Like, I think women are intuitive and they're really able to organize and they're really able to, you know, work together in a way that maybe some men cannot see that as a possibility. So I think that we're seeing, I mean, like Greta is like such a young activist, but we see like people speaking up at a younger age. So I think that your vision and your hope for people to be more aware of that is starting. But I think we're seeing obviously like the effects of global warming and the effects of like, you saw in Nambia, they're talking about killing animals in order to feed the people, which is kind of this horrible preview of the Kali Yuga situation that we have gotten ourselves into. But I also want to like shy away from forgetting how powerful the earth is and how like there are things that we need to do to be like aware of like our impact on earth. And it's not just, you know, people buy food in the grocery store and it comes packaged and they forget about how many hands have touched that fruit how many lives are attached to that produce or, you know, the grains and stuff like that. So I think us being more connected, us being more conscious and speaking about these things are really important in the future that we're building. And that is some food for thought. I never had connected that, you know, I thought about, all the climate change and the things that will happen. And, you know, if we keep staying with fossil fuels, like the kind of resources and the way people fight over those things. But I had not thought about that pattern.
Women are at the forefront of it, honestly. Yeah. Women, children, girls.
I mean, you see that happening in Palestine too. I mean, you see the effects of everything happening.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to fight for, but as you said, there's a lot of good in the world, and it's Mother Earth has sustained us.
Yeah, I got faith in her. I think she'll self-correct and kick us off, and she'll do some wild shit before she lets the whole thing go down.
And a Mommy Earth. I think that's we've got it
together.
Covered.
I think they got it under control.
Yeah,
but not fully. I just feel like I've seen like too many of those movies where it's like the pole shifts and then like now North America is under ice, and I'm like, you know, who knows?
Yeah, wow. Because Anup Jain as well, I saw this Nature and Spotify collaboration where music artists are producing music where part of those royalties, they go to earth conservation organizations and stuff, which is really cool. Yeah, it's called Nature Spotify.
Wow. I was not
collaboration.
I was not aware of that, but I would.
You can as an artist collaborate with nature on Spotify, and you can just add elements of nature to your music, and funds parts of that go to.
We do that already. We definitely have rain sounds and all kinds of things that we've recorded naturally. We're a little bit of sound trippers on the production.
You should check it out.
I will definitely check it out.
Any parting words? Any last words? Anything you want to say to women or to aspiring hip hop artists? Anything you've learned in therapy, for that matter?
I feel like I think I've exposed myself as maximum as possible. Don't be afraid to feel emotions. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. And, you know, every day is a new day. Every day is a school day, and you can just keep moving forward. And nothing is permanent. You can always change like everything about yourself. You can decide one day that you want a completely different life and just point yourself towards that. And nothing as powerful as a rebrand. You know?
I love it. Yeah. One decision away from a completely different life. I completely believe in that.
Yeah, it's all your choice.
Yeah.
It's the universe because it's a reflection of you.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for this conversation. I didn't imagine it to be as fun as it was. I didn't imagine it to be as deep and vulnerable it was at the same time. But your energy, again, I have to say that. It's beautiful, and I see the work that you've done. It's infectious at the same time. But I'm manifesting. I know you're a powerful manifestor anyway, but I'm still manifesting that Grammy, multiple Grammys, baby Grammy as well, at the same time, and that massive ring on your finger, whatever completes that vision board. But I know you also want a festival. You want to organize
I want to do an all-women's festival,
an all-women festival. I can't wait for that to come through. But thank you for being so open and so vulnerable today, and for sharing your story. There's so much that I've learned from it, and I know it's going to inspire so many others that listen to this. So thank you for showing up.
I appreciate, you having real questions and, like knowing about me. It wasn't like I had to explain small things, and I appreciate the platform to speak about my healing, because I think that's something people don't talk about, therapy and, the accountability and all the things that I've been learning. So I'm just glad to share them with you and with everyone, and I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me the space.
Thank you, and thank you for rating my whatever that amateur rap was. And
I don't. Do you hear the negative voice?
Okay, sorry, I'm gonna take it
Do
back.
you hear it?
Therapy, I'm gonna take
Who
it
is
back.
telling you it's average? I literally told you there's nothing I can add to it. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
You gonna check it?
I'm
gonna
definitely
check
I'm gonna check
voice?
that was 11 on 10.
Because if
you
that
rated
voice
it.
keeps going, then the comments are gonna agree with the voice, and you're gonna have problems.
I love it.
Gotta let go of that
You're
voice.
gonna be on my speed dial, you know that.
I'm ready.
Your morning routine.
The music will come to you. I'll just be like, you know what? I'm busy right now, but listen to Born to Win. Listen to Believe in You. Listen to Mira.
I love it.
Listen to Karma. I put the work in.
I know I love your heart, and I love your humor even more. And as I said, I've said it here. You have to become a comedian. If that's one more title you add to multiple other things that you do.
It is what it is.
But
we shall do
thank
it.
you. I'm
Thank you.
incredibly grateful. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Wow. Yay.
Ganapati Bappa. Moria!
I'm from India. I grew up in Mumbai, and my family's in Kolhapur, but something in me shifted, right? Yeah, something in me shifted. Exactly that. That shift. It was that.
This is gonna be like no, I can't sit that far back. Hold on. I have to take up less space in the frame. Hold on. Check this. See, now I'm taller. So I just look like a weirdo? Like I'm just sitting like this? It is Vajrasana, which I'm comfortable in. How do you want me to take out the leg from there? No, that's not even really. What do you mean, like this? How could someone sit like this? Now I'm a crazy, weird child that has, if I sit on my actual butt, the length is very short. From here to here, it's like a lot of color, right? How about that? Yeah, but I'm sitting up. Okay, Vajrasana it is. Of course I'm comfortable in Vajrasana. This is probably my most comfortable position. That is not even realistic. This isn't even, no, I never practiced this. And then we have to trade sides. So if this isn't even working, wait, this is gonna be like this is not actually recording us? Okay, cool. Let me see the lines. She wants Lalu. Yeah, Lalu. Lalu Kumar Rao. We'll see. He's a little bit, he gets triggered. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's so funny. I got him for anti-anxiety and he has anxiety. So like he gets triggered and he goes into like full demon mode, so. Hi, Oh, you want to say hi? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, he's so cute. Come here, Babu. Come. I'm gonna move this a little bit. Come here. Don't fall. Come here, Lalu. Come here. Come up here. Come up here. Come here. Oh, she's a good boy. He's so good. He's just a little boy. Lalu, calm down.
Oh, what a cutie.
He'll calm down. He just has to get some.
What a cutie.
Are you gonna be famous? One time I was like, he picked me up from the airport. What are you gonna do? And they were
He
like,
wants to lick the mic.
yeah, he has one of these at home, so he's probably just like, what's up, Babu? You gonna chill? You gonna chill? Sit down nicely. Sit down nicely. Relax. Put your right here. Now you're good. See? You want to say hi to her real bad. I know.
I want to hear you rap, Lalu.
He said, y'all didn't pay me nothing. See, he's gone. Where are you gonna go? You want to go say hi to her?
Anything that's coming up that you want to talk about, then by all means.
Yeah, my healing.
Yeah.
My therapy. I
love talking
hopefully
about
my
my therapy.
boyfriend is arriving.
Yeah,
Let's see.
it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
For
hopefully. Prabhu?
Sure. Prabhu.
Mahadev? Nope, Mahadev. I got to go to New York Fashion Week, and I got to see Prabhu Gurung's show and like Bibu Mohapatra. Why can't I see people's names right now? Hold on. I think I've been on this mic for too long. Yeah, I'll try that again.
I've forgotten how to talk. I guess now. That's what's happening right now.
I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed being here. Was that too long? You
No,
want
that
a
was
swipe
perfect.
up?
No, God no.
Can you tell I'm trained by brands? I'm like, you want to swipe up? Here. Yeah? You got that? Damn it. I gave it without trying. Somebody did that to me on set.
That is incredible. Wow.
Somebody did that to me on set. They were like,